McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with RyanORadio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neal, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey, and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the RyanORadio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Costco is testing scanners at the entrance to its stores to keep out non-members. Bertha Combs reports.
Several locations are scanning membership cards in what it calls an effort to improve their experience. Previously, members only had to flash their card at the entrance and then their card and ID when they scanned at checkout. Costco's chief financial officer told CNN the new procedure speeds up the process at entry and checkout. Memberships are key to Costco's business model. It generated $4.6 billion in fees for nearly 120
Good morning.
million members.
Everybody should be on. If they're not, I don't know where you're at.
The Biden
Why can't you get on?
Consumer
Do what you got to do.
Bureau unveiled new
Get
regulations
the real
for
deal.
overdraft fees that are expected to go into effect in 2025. Banks will now have to choose between offering overdraft loans for profit or a courtesy service, dropping fees by over 50%. The rule changes will affect around 175 banks nationwide. Experts say consumers have paid an estimated $280 billion in bank overdraft fees since 2000. The pause button appears to have been hit on the planned merger between two of the largest grocery chains in the country.
Kroger's and Albertsons are saying the deal has been delayed following concerns
Oh man,
from
too
regulators.
bad.
Add to that this week's filing of a lawsuit by the Attorney General of Washington State. The grocery store operator announced the merger, worth more than $24 billion back in 2022. I'm Michael Kastner.
The Commerce Department reports retail sales soared in December. The latest government data released Wednesday showed that retail sales jumped 0.6% last month thanks to the holiday shopping season. That number beat expectations of a 0.4% increase. It also marked the biggest jump in 3 months. Year over year, retail sales rose 5.6%. Consumer and business news, Aaron Real, NBC News Radio.
WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin, LaGrange.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with more winter weather, slamming states from the West Coast to the Great Lakes. Dozens of people have been killed, many in Oregon, hit hard by an ice storm. KXL's John Eric Smith is in Portland.
Most of those deaths have been attributed to hypothermia. One person died when a tree fell on the RV that they were in Wednesday. 3 people died after a limb knocked an active power line onto their SUV.
Almost 42,000 customers have no power right now in Oregon. Buffalo, New York is digging out from another lake effect snowstorm. Parents who lost children in the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, are bracing for a long-awaited report on police response to the incident. Alfred Garza, whose 10-year-old daughter was killed, attended a private meeting with Attorney General Merrick Garland and other Justice Department officials last night.
A detailed and summarized view of what happened that day. The report wasn't to point fingers and stuff like that, but there will be stuff laid out to where whoever's reading the report can kind of determine that.
19 students and 2 teachers were killed as officers waited 77 minutes to take down the 18-year-old gunman. In the Middle East, the U.S. says American forces launched another round of strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen, taking out 14 loaded missiles ready to be fired. CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland.
This should give, hopefully, the Houthis a bit more disquiet that we're not only able to hit these targets, we're able to hit these targets as they pop up in a dynamic fashion to preclude them then from launching more attacks on commercial shipping.
President Biden met with top congressional leaders on a stalled funding package for Ukraine and its war with Russia. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
There was tremendous focus on Ukraine and an understanding that if we don't come to Ukraine's aid, that the consequences for America around the globe would be nothing short of devastating.
The package also includes money for security at the U.S. southern border. Republicans say they won't support it unless it includes changes in immigration policy. Donald Trump flew to a campaign stop in New Hampshire after another appearance at his defamation trial involving the writer who accused him of sexual assault. Correspondent Harold Barnett is in New York.
Trump is not required to attend these proceedings, which are focused on one very narrow thing, exactly how much Ms. Carroll should be awarded for the defamation Mr. Trump has already been found liable for. And there remains the possibility that he may take the stand in his own defense, but that will come with very specific restrictions.
S&P futures are up forward.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's Home Advisor. Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
Where can you be a star athlete and a math superstar? Where can you prepare for graduate school or your dream job and make friends for the journey? Where can you challenge your mind and inspire your soul? Experience a transforming education as a Grange College, one of the South's most affordable, highly ranked institutions. Learn more at lagrange.edu.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a top expert in medical, health, and life insurance? Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent for finding the perfect plan to fit your budget. She works with multiple companies, ensuring the best option just for you. Don't miss out on the chance to make the right choice for your financial future. 706-525-5931. Speak to Charmaine Preston, CP Financial, your top local sales agent.
LaGrange, Georgia, Sweetland on Ice, November 17th through February 11th. Adults, kids, and group rates available. It's free just to hang out near the fire pit. Drinks, monthly movies, food truck Friday nights beginning in December. Weather updates and hour changes on the Facebook at Sweetland on Ice or Instagram at
All right, continue to grow. Get it going. Send it out there. Tag more people. This is a show that tells the truth, tells the real news. Instead of supporting people who read out the Bible and lie, I'll read out the Bible and tell what the Bible says.
We exist to provide recovery support services for individuals and family.
Good morning, Pete. How you doing?
Our services are no cost.
Pete. Davis. I know that name from somewhere. Good morning. Good morning. It is cold this morning, Pete. I know that name from somewhere.
Same great taste. The best chicken around. Fish
All right,
Dinners.
let's see.
Open Monday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
We got to talk about an American man bites a flight attendant. Now this, wow.
So great. Wishbone Fried Chicken, 31 Jackson Street, Suite A, here in Newton.
You hear music to the lyrics.
Wow. Plus, we got Courtney Liso with us this morning in the final period on True Crime Thursday. Great guest all week. I appreciate it. We had our friend Randy Rocket Cody yesterday. Tomorrow, Matt Griffin with Action Wrestling will be joining us. They got a big event coming up in the Metro Atlanta area. What a week of great guests. I appreciate all our guests. That means I didn't have to talk as much.
Inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because
Lord.
it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show. Every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern, you'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more.
Love it.
You might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Hey, sports fans. Weekdays, 3
Let's
p.m.
see here.
Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country.
Got to keep Mac in our thoughts and prayers this morning, especially our prayers. I say prayers, so sorry about that.
99.1 FM.
He's a little under the weather right now.
God's newspaper boy, Elder Gerald Halford, is inviting you to listen in to the Voice of Reason broadcast, bringing you fresh revelation from God's Word for today. every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. I'll have a seat for you Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Coffee.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
All right, we're gonna do it once more. And this time, no mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good morning. Good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Just doing a little dance, sorry. It's the Noonan dance.
The stars were shining bright.
But now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to say goodnight.
So say good morning.
Good morning. Somebody's supposed to stop.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Sorry, I thought we were still getting. Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of the 45's Affair radio show, where I play all Rhino 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Noonan, Georgia.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's got that pretty much right. Oh, yeah. Welcome into period number 1. Coming up, we got a lot to talk about. Israel war, we'll keep you updated on that. An American man bites a flight attendant on an air flight. Tasty. These stories and more, including Courtney Liso on this True Crime Thursday. It's RyanORadio Penitentiary. You're in lockdown with yours truly, Ryan O'Neill, of course, and that's right, I am the game. 50,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast, Shout It Out Loud. Also across the RyanORadio media page on Spreaker, which seems to work fine. I was on another one that didn't work too well. Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, and the Navajo Nation. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, eh? And finally, the Jordan Communication and Family Radio stations, East Alabama, West Georgia, including right here at the heartbeat of Atlanta, WQEE 99.1 FM, the key, home of Southern sports and inspirational talk. That's right. We got a lot of Southern sports and inspirational talk for you throughout the day and throughout the weekend. And some great programming too. But it's Thursday, True Crime Thursday. You know what that means. We're going to dive into some of the best and worst of true crime stories. Be ready. And to my haters, I got one thing to say to you. Whether anybody likes it or not, I am the man around here at about 13 minutes past the hour. We're holding it. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm holding and got the right temperature. It's saying 28 degrees in my neck of the woods. And probably even worse than that elsewhere. Don't freeze up. Oh, 22. I'm sorry. It's 22 degrees. It's 28 by 9 a.m. That's what I was looking at. Yeah, I looked at the wrong weather forecast. Sorry, guys. I told you the story. It's 22 degrees in the metro Atlanta area. It's probably even feeling even worse than that. But by 9 a.m., it's going to go up to 28. Don't worry. By noon, it'll be 41. Yeah, man, it's going to warm up. It's going to be a heat wave by 12 noon today. Their time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control, summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Michael and the crew can exterminate and lay the smack down just for you. That's right. All right, I'll tell you what, we got a lot of news in store for you. We can kick off our daily devotion, but we're going to talk about this morning. A man bites I appreciate you coming on and staying on. I appreciate that. Good morning to Pete as well with us. Pete Davis, how you doing this morning? I appreciate you joining us. Let's see what else is going on. A man returning from Seattle from Tokyo allegedly bit the arm of a flight attendant. I guess he thought she was going to be tasty. Let's hope it's none of those conspiracy theories, flat earth conspiracy theories that he bit her because he's a lizard person or whatever. You know, he was an alien because he was from Seattle. He's coming back from Tokyo. We'll talk about that this morning. Plus, Israel at war. We got news stories for you there. And it's True Crime Thursday. We'll dive into some of the best and worst of true crime news stories that we got that's going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Give you some updates on some of the other stuff that's going on. true crime. And maybe we'll have a daily dumbest of the day. You never know. In the final period today, Courtney Liso joins us. Courtney is the co-host of the Book of the Dead podcast, the true crime podcast with her mother. And she's going to be bringing us another true crime episode, Small Town USA, where everybody knows your name. They know your mom and them, but they don't know who did it. And we're going to have that for you this morning in the final period, True Crime Thursday. Also, we'll give you a little AEW preview. I had to turn it off. I was like bored. Christian Cage, Dustin Rhodes had a great match, but when Orange Cassidy come on, I'm sorry. I don't know where all you marks are out there on this, but this dude sticking his hands in his pants playing a lazy character is just boring. There's a difference in being a skateboard character or a Matt Riddle type character, an RVD type character where everybody's like, I know a guy named Smokey, but not a lazy character and continuing to move up the, all the way up, and he's international champion. It just, it's boring. Every time I hear that his song comes up, every time I hear his song come up, I'm like, oh man, I'm not watching this. So I'll give you a review of what happened on what I didn't check out on AEW. But we got some real wrestling by real wrestlers coming up next weekend. And that's going to be Action Wrestling is going to be here in the Metro Atlanta area in Newton at one of our middle schools. And all the proceeds are going to help them out as well, just to let you guys know. Thank you for commenting on my link there, my friend. What's up? Good morning, Charles. How you doing? I appreciate you as well. But just to let you guys know, we'll talk with Matt Griffin. He is the CEO of Action Wrestling. He'll join us tomorrow morning on the show. We'll get ready for some Action Wrestling next weekend. And, of course, I'm probably going to try to go out and check it out myself. All right, let's go ahead and say what's going on in the news at 17 minutes past the hour radio news time. It is 22 degrees out there in the Atlanta, Metro Atlanta areas. We're Atlanta's WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key. We're Atlanta and Metro Atlanta's radio station, but we're also East Alabama. We're in Tennessee and North Florida's radio station. And people listen to us worldwide, all over 50,000 plus of you on the Shoutcast, Shout It Out Loud. So we have people all over the country. We got people in the Midwest and Iowa, Idaho, everywhere listening as well, California. And so we appreciate that. We try to do something for everyone. And of course, let's jump into it, ladies and gentlemen, with some headline. Oh, before we get headline news, I'm sorry. That reminded me. We got to do the daily devotion brought to you by Noonan City Church, 17 First Avenue in the Metro Atlanta area of Noonan. The Nest program at all times helping out. We have the Nest program out there helping those in need that are on the streets or those that are sleeping in their cars, because prices of homes and rent has gone up. So some people are out on the streets. And us at Noonan City Church are helping out. Noonan City Church's Nest program. Also, Noonan City Church invites you out every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. inside, 9:30 and 10 or 9 a.m. and 10:30 services outside, weather permitting. We got heaters under the tent, but I think we'll be inside this week. It's going to be really cold. Also, NCC PM for the hip, cool kids out there. That's right. Pastor Cedric, Pastor Darren, Pastor Randy, and Head Pastor Jimmy Ellison inviting you out to Transforming Lives for Jesus' sake, 17 First Avenue in Newton. Let's go on this date, known as the 18th day of January. Can't believe we're already that many days. From Sarah Young, she is one of my favorite authors. And of course, her book is Daily Devotion, Prayers, Peace, Joy, and Hope. She's the author of Jesus Calling, which I've read for a number of years. Now, here we go with today. She's bringing together Hebrews 4:12, Matthew 28:20, and Philippians 4:7. She's a peaceful Savior. May your peace protect my mind and my heart. Yeah. Help me to rejoice in you always, remembering that you are near as I spend time with you, presenting my request to you with thanksgiving. You bless me with a peace and transcend all understanding. There you go. This is how you guard my heart and my mind, because I belong to you. Aloneness is just an illusion, because it's dangerous out there that can lead to a depression and self-pity. That's that delusion. The devil, in is working hard to cloud my mind and awareness. That son of a gun. I want to say something else, but this is radio. So it's critical for me to recognize and resist their acts. I can fight back with your powerful words, which is living and active, even when I'm feeling alone. That's right. You are filling my heart with love and peace. In Jesus' name, amen. Oh, thank you for being with us, guys. We appreciate you for being on. So that's today's daily devotion, sponsored by Noonan City Church, 17 First Avenue, here in the metro Atlanta area of Noonan. All right, let's jump into some of the headlines. Headline news. U.S. conducts fourth attack on rebels in Yemen. Princess Kate to be hospitalized for up to 2 weeks after she had surgery on her midsection. Supreme Court set to hear case challenging authorities of federal agencies. New York Islam community mourns after 5 victims of the same family are killed in a crash. Plus, we're going to get into some of the headline news coming from Israel in just a few moments. Those are news tips, or news bits that you can check out on our WQEE page, and many more on them as well. And so we're going to dive right into it. Let's jump into it. The rich are wanting to do this morning. This is kind of a unique story. A new study published Wednesday also found that 74% of the most wealthy people in the world support higher taxes on themselves. They can afford it. See, they want our society to work so people that don't understand, they don't care. It doesn't bother them. But these are nearly 270 millionaires and billionaires. Now, these are people that, you know, they don't have to worry about their water being cut off or whatever like that. Somebody else pays all their utility bills and all their, they don't even know what that is. Half of them don't even know that they have to go back and renew their license, you know. Oh, it's time to renew my license? That's why I've got 8-year license now in some states. Anyway, but hey, it's cool that they're doing that, that they're wanting to do that. They met in Switzerland at this World Economic Forum meeting to talk about the taxing the wealthy, and most of them were like, hey, it's all right. Let's go ahead and do this. They said if they don't start addressing this, that it could be catastrophe for us. 262 millionaires and billionaires said, we don't care. Taxes. We'll pay it. So for those out there that don't get this kind of story 9 times out of 10, because most of the mainstream media does not want to tell you this stuff because they want you to go, well, the rich don't care about you, or let's just give the rich tax deductions and other people this and then. We just get all these different processes of people, you know, attacking one another because of the mainstream media. And you can like whatever you want to like. I don't care, but I talk about them all. So, you know, I'll call Snooze Max and Fox News and CNN fake news. I'll call them all out. But it's just an agenda because of the money they're making. And you won't hear this. So you got millionaires out there willing to be taxed so that they can keep our society running. And they know that it's a big part of what it is. It says, if not, it could be a downfall. And they don't want to be the ones blamed for the downfall of society. Why if you're a millionaire or a billionaire, why would you be blamed? Oh man, they're gonna blame me because I got all these millions. Because I invested in one company that I was able to invest in, make millions off of it, and now I'm going to get blamed. Well, let me go ahead and pay taxes, extra taxes, so we can get this society back straight. But you know, I would like for some of these billionaires to start, you know, like Elon Musk, dude could put factories and different types of jobs in every single state in the United States of America. He can do it around the world too, but in America, especially where we want to work, and we want to keep our society up, and he gets, and then I'd say, well, you know, here's the thing, if Elon would invest all over the United States in every single state, maybe 3 factories and all kind of businesses, then I say give the man a big tax cut because he's giving everybody a job. Because I know people that when he had facilities out in California and Nevada that worked for him, heck, it wouldn't even like working. I know that when he ran one of these solar businesses, most people that worked there, hell, every Friday they'd come in and they'd have beer for their lunch. Not that I'm drink, I don't care for drinking because I don't do that. But if you're that kind of person, think about it. I mean, he can put jobs around the country. And then I'd say give them tax cuts and stuff, But if they're willing to take it, I say do it. I'm for them. I'm for them if they're willing to take it. That'll help us out. All right, let's talk about this news story that I want to talk about. This is one that you guys are going to think are funny. I know it's funny. A man returning to Seattle from Tokyo, Japan, allegedly bit the arm of a flight attendant, forcing the flight to return to the airport there in Tokyo early Wednesday morning. The suspect was a 55-year-old American who was restrained by crew members after attacking a cabin attendant about an hour into the flight when the ANA 118 was over the ocean late Tuesday night. The female flight attendant sustained a few minor injuries, and the man was arrested in Tokyo at the airport on Wednesday morning. After being detained, the man repeatedly told authorities he had taken a sleeping pill and had not recalled what had happened. Well, I took a sleeping pill, man. I don't know what happened. It wasn't my fault, man, that I bit her. I was just like trying to take some, I was hungry. And she wouldn't give me anything, so I bit her. Also want to see how she tastes. After being detained, the man reportedly told authorities that he had taken a sleeping pill. The plane departed just before 10 p.m. local time and landed back in Tokyo just before 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Wow. They had to turn around and take him back. You would think that would be my dumb crooked today, right? Since it's True Crime Thursday. No, man, we haven't got there yet. All right, 27 minutes past the hour. Holding, ladies and gentlemen, can you believe it? We're holding it. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? 22 degrees. Your time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street in Noonan. Let's take a look at what's going on with your Killersworth Realty Road Report. The road report is coming up for you right now.
But especially today's can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killersworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
You don't have to do it alone? No, you definitely don't. The perfect home is right here in Atlanta and the metro Atlanta area with Killersworth Realty. Amy and Todd can take care of all your needs. All right, let's take a look at what's going on in traffic reports this morning. Oh my goodness, traffic throughout the Atlanta and metro Atlanta area is looking like this. In Cobb County, ladies and gentlemen, started about 13 minutes ago. I don't know why my computer wants to freeze up. Because it's 22 degrees outside, Ryan. That's why it wants to freeze up. Yeah, thank you. Oh, man. Really and truly, okay, it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and get on these roadways. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm trying to sit here and give you this, and it's just messing up. La, 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 la. Irritating me. Wow, internet sucks. Irritates me. All right, crash at east-west connector, westbound of Lipson Drive in the right lane till about 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Crash in Atlanta near the second right lane, I-75-85 southbound near exit 249 till 20 minutes past the hour. Next hour. Also, ladies and gentlemen, in Cobb County, a crash I-20 eastbound. This is going to be near the Riverside Parkway in the left lane. Expect some delays. Use VMH instead to about 15 minutes till the top of the hour. Also, ladies and gentlemen, in Gwinnett County, there's a crash blocking the lane on Highway 30 316, I should say, westbound near Riverside Parkway and one past Sugarloaf Parkway. Just cleared, though. Delays right out of Lawrenceville up to 8 a.m. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, no traffic issues on Bullsboro's Lower Fayetteville Road looks good, and Popular Road in Metro Atlanta area of Noonan. Jackson Street picking up a tad bit. School's out, heading to school. We got school buses out, so be on the lookout for that. A lot more traffic today than in the last couple of days because it's 22 degrees, but it's a little warmer than it was yesterday morning this time, which was 13 degrees. Traffic headed down to Interstate 85 southbound. Hogansville reports no, and Granville report no issues. Heading on to where our friends are in LaGrange, New Franklin Road picking up a little bit. Heading on Commerce Avenue just a tad bit. And looking over here on downtown LaGrange, looking good, nothing major. Heading down to Old West Point Road into West Point, looking no traffic issues there. But coming off the interstate, if you head off the interstate in the West Point exit, remember, if you go to the right, it's going to be construction going on there. Go to the left, there's Love's gas station, and at that Love's gas station is the Hardee's, which everybody's going to get breakfast. If you're getting off at the Kia Boulevard, they're back to work as normal and no issues there for them. Into East Alabama, West Georgia, it's back to school for all the kids there. In-person learning. All right, that's a look at what's going on. If you see something I don't see, traffic issues, news, weather, traffic, events, shoot us an email at 99classicrock@gmail.com. And you know what you can do? You can be a part of the RyanORadio Penitentiary News Hound. Keep your nose to the road and let us know what's going on. And if you want to be part of this station, you need to be a part now because we can make you successful. And you know what? It takes someone who knows what they're doing, not just you sitting in your mom's basement doing what you do. Shoot us an email at 99classicrock@gmail.com or call us at 770-347-9947. Back in a moment.
Thursday, brought to you by Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street and Noonan. Except for a few afternoon clouds, it's mainly sunny today. High near 50, winds light and variable. Overcast skies with little rain showers this evening, low near 37. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, chance of rainfall 60%. Headed to your Friday morning, morning clouds giving way sunshine by the afternoon. High near 41, northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Back down to 16 tomorrow night, clear skies. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, high near 33, sunny skies. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, 14 degrees, clear skies, very cold. North winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. By your Sunday, high near 43 to low near 24. That's your active weather forecast, sponsored by Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street here in Noonan. Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Active Pest Control offers the best services and prices to protect your home, offering both monthly and quarterly pest control services, plus specific services like bed bug, turning roach, and flea control. Even if you can't see them, insects are all around you 24/7. Active Pest Control wants to be the first line of defense. Active Pest Control, repair, bond, best termite coverage around. Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street, Noonan, 770-954-9941.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a top expert in medical, health, and life insurance? Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent for finding the perfect plan to fit your budget. She works with multiple companies, ensuring the best option just for you. Don't miss out on the chance to make the right choice for your financial future. 706-525-5931. Speak to Charmaine Preston, CP Financial, your top local sale agent.
You're walking, shopping, or on your favorite trail. You get that feeling somebody's coming up on you.
Woo! Good morning, everybody.
To be prepared in today's world. Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. As a certified tactical self-defense instructor, I'm specializing in women's self-defense. All women of all ages have the ability to learn how to defend themselves effectively. With technical drills to build their survival skills, you can be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
Performing Arts invites you to travel to the magic world of ancient China. Experience a lost culture brought to life with incredible classical Chinese dance, magical scenery, and soul-stirring music.
Did I say Princess Cake? This is Prince Cake. I hope I said Princess. All right, here we go.
That's SHELANDER.com/Columbus-GA.
Sunday, January 28th, Hollywood. Haley J is coming to Memphis Wrestling. Plus, the return of James Ellsworth. Get your tickets right now at MemphisWrestling.tv.
And you can check out Memphis Wrestling on WQMK TV 18 on Roku in Auburn, Alabama. Memphis Wrestling. Yeah. Oh, I'm saved by the bell. So are you, and so is everybody. Come on back out of the penalty box, ladies and gentlemen. You are on the radio dial of your favorite radio station, 99.1 FM, WQEE, all over the world and everywhere you need to be, all over the internet. And if you are not here and you're not doing a show or you're doing something, hey, guess what? We can get you on the air and give you the proper requirements and teaching to do something that people want to listen to. Yeah. You're like, but you ain't got 1 million people on your YouTube. We just started the YouTube 2 weeks. We just started YouTube a week ago, probably last week. But we got 50,000 plus on the Shoutcast Shout It Out Loud. We got people that are always responding to our radio shows all day long and everything. So yes, I know some of you will look at the YouTube and go, but you got this many. You got to grow it on the YouTube. YouTube wants you to pay too. So there you go. And I'm not talking bad about YouTube because ever since I've been on YouTube, nothing's been pulled off. So just have to build it organically. All right, we want you to go and follow and subscribe to the WQEE 99.1 FM, the Key Atlanta page. And we are Atlanta's radio station, news, traffic, sports, and more. And we're inspirational talk. So there you go. Speaking of news, we're going to talk about Israel war. 37 minutes past the hour. We are holding at 22 degrees. Time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Michael the crew can exterminate and lay the smack down for you. Seeing the school buses come by is awesome. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump into it. Families of Americans being held hostage in Gaza, along with bipartisan group of lawmakers held a candlelight vigil Wednesday on the steps of the U.S. Capitol to commemorate more than 100 days without their loved ones. They are still Jewish sons and daughters being held captive by Hamas, says House Speaker Mike Johnson. We are here again because they are still Americans and Israelites who have not spoken to their families in 103 days. Wow, that is bad. 6 Americans remain unaccounted for since the October 7th attack by Hamas on Israel, where about 12,000 people were killed and 240 were taken hostage. As the family members carry candles and photos of their loved ones, Johnson referred to a bipartisan group of lawmakers who support them and welcomed their visit to the nation's capital. Congress is united in its opposition to Jewish hate and in support of our friend and ally Israel, said Johnson. The attack, the first of its kind since the Holocaust, came because of anti-Jewish hatred, and it is our duty to call out this evil. He said, I join my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to commemorate 100 days since Hamas brutally attacked on October 7th. When it comes to safety of the people of Israel, we must leave partisanship aside and remain steadfast in our strong support for the strongest allies in the Middle East. Agreed. Senator Joni Ernst, a Republican from Iowa, along with Senator Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, and Ben Cardin, a Democrat from Maryland, hosted the families during Wednesday's visit and called out Hamas's brutal attack and brutality during an afternoon news conference. I'm glad to see they're getting along. I know some of you out there are not going, how are these Democrats and Republicans get along? I have to kick my cousin off out of the house at Thanksgiving. I know. Somebody got a different idea than yours is the enemy. And everybody's evil doesn't believe the way you do. Oh, I know. Look at me messing with people's minds now. But I like to see this coming together, especially for something like this. For over 100 days now, Americans have been held at the mercy of an Iran-backed Hamas. Family, that's what Ernest says. Families don't know if their loved ones are dead or alive. And as you see here, no parent should have to endure this. Representative Katie Manning, a Democrat from North Carolina, told those in attendance at the vigil that she was overwhelmed by families, griefed by their and by their courage by sharing the pain felt by the entire Jewish community. So we got Republicans and Democrats on both sides standing out for this. I am glad they did this. I'm glad there was this. This is something I'm bringing up, and the reason I'm bringing it up is you're not going to see too much of this on your mainstream media. Like I said, some of these news stories I bring up is not mainstream media excitement because it's not dividing you guys and wanting you guys to punch each other in the face. It's like bipartisan, both sides. This is a good news story. This is and I'm glad the House Speaker Mike Johnson, along with Republicans and Democrats, stood together yesterday for this in front of the Capitol to show that there's other things that happen in the Capitol besides all the stuff that happened years ago, besides all the summer of violence, besides all the stuff that we've had with the starting as protests and turn into riots and stuff over the years, that there's other things out there that this can happen too, but you're not hearing too much about this because Schumer is not getting punched in the face by Johnson. Or Schumer's not punching Johnson in the face, whichever news network is going to come up with the news story like he punched him in the face. They're not punching each other in the face and everything. Oh my goodness. So, it's just one of those things. So I'm glad to see that they were standing together. And speaking of more about this, in Israel, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken on Wednesday repeatedly called for U.S. to call for a new Palestinian state, saying that it is the only answer to Israel's age-old quest for security, and that this newfound way of doing things in the Arab Middle East and Muslims continues to open up relations within Israel, and which was held back only by this war and the route towards this war. Blinken told world leaders at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland that he's trying to help reform Palestinians' authority that couldn't be more effective when it's delivering its own message in its own area and not trying to step in on Israel. Wow. They're trying to work some things out. The rich men are saying taxes there at this thing. They're trying to work this thing. Seems like you're trying to work this out, that you're not hearing too much about this because, it's not the ice and snow to keep you in there. It's not the I hate this guy and I hate that guy and I love this guy and I hate this guy and I love this guy and I hate this guy. I love this girl. I hate this girl. Mainstream media stuff. This is some real news stuff. This is stuff that they're working on. This is stuff that you need to know. And then this is what I've been told by some of my listeners and people that view me too, that they appreciate that we're actually giving some news out there, some stuff that they didn't even hear on the mainstream media. And I appreciate that. That's why I try to get into finding all the news that you can definitely use, ladies and gentlemen, because it's important to you. And finally, in Israel at war, we're about 15 minutes away from the top of the hour, holding at 22 degrees. Top of temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. And finally, after all 5 members of the same family and belong to an Islamic organization in New York City, a New York City-based nonprofit service for the Islam community there in the area, have died. Pennsylvania State Police identified 5 women, all members of the same family, who died when they were struck by a tractor trailer on Interstate 81 in Pennsylvania on Tuesday. The 5 women were traveling in two vehicles traveling towards Lake Lackawanna County, I hope I said that right, as they returned from an overseas trip to Saudi Arabia. They said it's with great sadness and heavy hearts that we announced that the 5 members of our community passed away last night in a tragic car accident. They were returning from Saudi Arabia and were on their way back home to the airport to their families. They were all beloved members of our community, and some were mothers with young children. This is posted on the Facebook page of that particular group. The 5 victims were identified by Pennsylvania State Police. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll see that full list of the names right there on the WQEE page. You can read it for yourself. We're going to take another break, come back. We got a few more things to talk about this morning. Keep you abreast of what's going on. It's True Crime Thursday, and you know we're going to get into some true crime news next hour. We got to do that. And I'm going to try to give you a little short synopsis of what happened on AEW. I didn't even watch Dynamite last night. I'm sorry. Once Orange Cassidy came on, I just couldn't watch it. I'm sorry. I know there's some younger people out there who love Orange Cassidy, but he just seems like a lazy bum. Okay. And he's walking around with his title in a backpack. Okay. I'm surprised they didn't give him a coffee or something. I don't know, man. I'm just not into it. When we got so many great wrestlers out there not given an opportunity, TNA Wrestling doing so great. Their pay-per-view of the weekend was outstanding. Every wrestler was outstanding. Action Wrestling, who's going to be making their way to the Arnell Middle School here in Noonan next weekend for Noonan Nightmare. A lot of great wrestlers there. We'll talk with CEO Matt Griffin tomorrow morning on the show as we prepare for some wrestling weekend going into the weekend. But first, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. When we come back here, I'll give you a little AEW action. I'll try to do that. Back in a moment.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones confirmed Mike McCarthy will return to Dallas for a 5th season as their head coach. The NFL divisional round kicks off this weekend as the Texans battle the Ravens Saturday in Baltimore. Niners host the Packers on Sunday. Lions face the Bucs at Ford Field while the Chiefs visit the Bills. NBA last night, Donovan Mitchell dropped in a game-high 31 as the Cavs crushed the Bucks for their 6th straight win. Lakers, led by as many as 24 in the 4th quarter, knocked off the Mavs. The Pacers acquired forward Pascal Siakam from the Raptors in exchange for 2 players, including Bruce Brown and 3 first-round picks. Golden State mourning the loss of assistant coach Dejan Milojevic, who passed away at the age of 46. Following a medical emergency during a private team dinner. Last night's game between the Warriors and Jazz was postponed. That's sports. Roz Moss, NBC News.
I'm still here, guys. I'm just trying to get some things up.
Back in a brand new location, 31 Jackson Street, Suite A here in Noonan. Same great taste, the best chicken around. Fish
It's
dinners.
amazing how everything works, and then all of a sudden it wants to freeze up. It's amazing. And everything works perfectly.
Bringing you the best chicken around. So great. Wishbone Fried Chicken, 31 Jackson Streets, here in Noonan.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We're an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, and commercial insurance.
I laugh at things that happen. Oh, Lord.
With Ellsworth.com, 770-755-7053. We look forward to meeting you soon.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help them.
Thank you. Keep going up.
Their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy.
Big Joe's Grill, what's up?
Website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
What is good? 99.1 WQEE The Kid. We got the hottest new show coming to you live, The Jet Stream. Tune in every Saturday on your 9 a.m. morning drive.
Hey everybody, this is Andy Chrisman. Join me this week for a very special year-end edition of Worship as I play 2 hours of the best in modern worship music from churches and worship leaders around the world. And this week we're going to hear some of our favorite songs of 2023 by Leland, John Reddick, Lake Point Worship, Bill Wickham, House Fires, Red Rocks, Gateway, and so much more. You don't want to miss a moment of this week's year-end edition of Worship.
Definitely, I don't want to miss that, guys. It's going to be 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. every Sunday morning right here on the network. It's Worship with Andy Chrisman. That's right. All right, let's jump into this and everything. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers being kicked off of Pat McAfee's show because ESPN is like, well, what is going on with you, dude? Dude just wants to go outrageous, gets too outrageous and everything. And there's some things that were said that shouldn't have been said. Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee are proof that ESPN only wanted black talent to stick to sports. What? We'll talk about that. But first, we'll give you a little update in the world of professional wrestling. Also, Kelsey is retiring, but not Travis. Whoa! What was it last night? He kicked off with a great match as TNT champion Christian Cage with his crew, and he defeated Dustin Rhodes in that match. It was a great match back and forth. It's almost like a wrestling match. Congratulations to Christian. Swerve backstage. He's talking about he wants the AEW championship. He didn't win the Continental Classic. Renee brings up, hey man, he says, I beat him twice. There's no reason to do it again. I have nobody to prove it to. Backstage, Chris Jericho says that the Don Callis family cost him and Sammy Guevara to lose the tag team belts this past Saturday night to Big Bill or lose the match to Big Bill and Ricky Starks, who are the tag team champions, and that he's going to destroy Tashaki. Matt Sydal enters and tells Jericho, you need to get over the loss and do that and get in the ring with me on Rampage. I think they did. Then the match I turned everything off because I didn't want to watch was Orange Cassidy and Trent Beretta as they took on Commander and Peta El Zero. And Commander and Peta need to move on over, and also the Lucha Brothers need to move on over since they're in AAA just to TNA because TNA's partner up in AAA. And guess what? It'd be better for them. After the match, Roderick Strong comes out and says he wants to beat that. Roderick Strong, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven come to the ring. Roderick Strong tells Orange Cassidy he's coming for the AEW International Championship. Cassidy challenges him right now. Strong said, I want the match at Revolution because I want you to wake up every day knowing that you're keeping my title warm for me. Yes, Roderick. Yes. Yes, Roderick. Take the title, buddy. You look like a wrestler. You sound like a wrestler. Backstage, Hangman Adam Page said he's going for the AEW Championship too, and he doesn't care. He's going to have to take out Swerve or whatever. Anyway, Mark Briscoe comes out. 1 year anniversary of the death of his brother, Jay Briscoe. He said, my nieces were also in the truck, and they told me my oldest niece, she will never walk again. They came out as Mark gave them a hug in the video package of the Briscoe brothers. Mark Briscoe's the man, bro, and I'm sorry. And you always like the Briscoe brothers. And it was 1 year, man. Wow. Can't believe that 1 year. In a pre-taped interview, Nick Jackson says as an EVP of AEW, they are going to take their jobs more serious and want to be called Nicholas and Matthew. Matthew said, we changed the wrestling world, but somewhere along the way, toxic creeps into the locker room. The perception of the company was different, and it was because we start to lean on yesterday's self-serving, superficial superstars. This isn't about Sting, he said. He is none of those things. He's a model employee. It's about what Sting represents. Sting is the last of the dying breed. He isn't in line with what we want to do, and that's to change the world. So unfortunately for Sting, we will have to say goodbye to Sting and everybody like him. So they want to get rid of the big stars. Well, nobody's going to watch AEW there, Nicholas and Matthew. Especially if you keep putting Orange Cassidy out there. The Bullet Club Gold defeated the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage to win the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team match. Well, congratulations to them. Deanna Perez defeats Anna Jay. Deanna says she wants Toni Storm. They used to be like sisters. She wants their title. And everything. Well, I don't know why things are freezing up again. Private Party defeated Top Gun, and Sting and Darby Allin's video package airs. Allen said the story is going to end with us being AEW Tag Team Champions. Oh, so they want to be the Tag Team Champions. And Samoa Joe defeated Hook in one heck of a match between the two to keep his AEW Championship. And Hangman Adam Page came in, Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana were also standing in the aisle staring at Joe. So that's about all I can say about wrestling. All right. I didn't watch it. That's just what I can say about it. That's what's going on. All right. Let's jump into a couple of news stories. We're going to head to the top of the hour, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I got in store for you? Headline news. Headline news. We'll talk about the princess, of course, Kate being hospitalized for about 2 weeks. We'll get you what's going on with Pat McAfee having to get rid of Aaron Rodgers off his show because of his big mouth. And Kelsey's retiring. No, Travis is not retiring. He's still in the good graces of Taylor Swift. No, we're talking about his brother. We'll talk about Eagles superstar linebacker after the top of the break and get ready for the weekend. Ahead on this True Crime Thursday. It's True Crime Thursday. Still to come, Courtney Liso from the Book of the Dead podcast, the co-host of the Book of the Dead podcast, a true crime podcast where her and her mother dive into stories of true crimes that are unsolved. Unsolved homicide in small town USA. And we're going to do it coming up for you this morning. So stay with us.
On this day in labor history, the year was 1946. That was the day the United Electrical Workers joined the National Post-War Strike Wave. 200,000 UE members walked off the job at General Electric, Westinghouse, and General Motors Electrical Division. Across the country, reduction of hours and phony job reclassifications led to a 30% wage cut, while years of wartime grievances piled up. All this led to the workers demanding a $2 a day pay raise. Many of these workers were young women on strike for the first time. They had spent much of the war fighting piecework and gender-based divisions of labor. Reports from the picket lines showed overwhelming support among the strikers and from the general public. Older male co-workers who built the UE joined young women strikers on the line. At the GE Mazda Lamp Works in Youngstown, Ohio, steelworkers joined women strikers to bolster the picket lines. In Lynn, Massachusetts, signs of women picketers read, "We want to live, not just exist," and "Let the pipes freeze. They don't care if we freeze," in response to maintenance crews
Pipes are
being allowed
freezing.
to pass. In Bloomfield, New Jersey, 6 restaurants turned their establishments over to the strikers. GE President Charles Wilson complained bitterly of the 12,000 or so picketers that blocked the gates of the GE Schenectady plant. Strikers across the country faced violent confrontations and beatings as police on horseback waded through the crowds. Philadelphia strikers retaliated by pouring marbles onto the streets. Workers at GE and Westinghouse would eventually settle for 18 cents an hour, less than what they had hoped for, but more than either company had been willing to give. Management would remain in shock for years at the level of solidarity among the strikers and the community.
It's MJ Graham with Rojays. You're home for Rojays hockey. Tune in 99 Rock.
Hi everyone, I'm Brandy Zadrozny, and I'm the host of Tiffany Dover is Dead, a new podcast from NBC News. Tiffany Dover is Dead is a story of a nurse who got the COVID vaccine on live TV, then passed out on camera. She got back up a few minutes later, but the internet decided she had died. This is a show about how conspiracy theories start in the age of COVID and how hard it is to make one go away. You can stay right here and listen to a preview of Tiffany Dover is Dead. To hear the first 2 episodes and get the entire series, search for Tiffany Dover is Dead wherever you're listening and follow now.
This is not the woman that died, Tiffany Dover. This is a phony.
Welcome to one of the internet's weirdest obsessions.
Holy mackerel. That chick might actually be dead.
It's a
Oh
story
my
about
God,
a
I'm so
person. My name is
stupid to
Tiffany
believe in
Dover,
this.
And I am the manager in CCU. A nurse who got the COVID vaccine.
I'm so crazy of believing conspiracy theories by online conspiracy nuts.
Things went off script.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling really dizzy. I'm sorry. And I look at the photographer like, what's going on? And then she faints like into their arms. Whoa. I feel fine now.
Her name is Tiffany Pontus Dover, and she was totally fine. Except for one problem. The internet didn't believe it.
The video has since been shared around the world. So if false claims that Dover passed away or has disappeared.
Tiffany, if you are still alive, for the love of God, please say something.
Tiffany Dover, si ça se prononce comme ça.
Some claiming on social media the woman in the video was not Dover.
I'm like 50-50 on this, that nurse is acting.
This is a story about how conspiracy theories start in the age of COVID.
Started before that.
So safe and effective, then why do the manufacturers need liability protection?
And how hard it is to make one go away.
I'm prepping for a memorial service on Saturday, trying to get this under control.
Write her name down, find her. There's a $100,000 bounty to produce Tiffany Pontus Dover alive.
Tiffany? Oh, sorry. Are you sure that wasn't Tiffany? No? What's more believable? I feel like mine sounds more reasonable.
Doesn't matter what sounds reasonable. It matters what the truth is.
From NBC News, I'm Brandy Zadrosny, and this is Tiffany Dover is Dead, coming April 18th. Follow or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin, LaGrange.
With SRN News, I'm Tasha Stevens. President Biden meets with lawmakers at the White House over Ukraine aid and southern border security. House Speaker Mike Johnson says changes at the border are top priority.
We understand that there's concern about the safety, security, sovereignty of Ukraine, but the American people have those same concerns about our own domestic sovereignty and our safety and our security.
Minorities will make up the majority of the United States population by 2050, according to data from the American Community Survey. During unprecedented illegal immigration, the survey found the nation's non-white population increased by nearly 4 million since 2021. Hispanics are expected to have the most population growth by 2050, with an increase of around 6%. Also at srnnews.com, Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee is demanding that President Biden's top agencies disclose how much taxpayer money designated for veterans has instead been given to illegal immigrants. Blackburn noted reports that suggested in fiscal year 2022, taxpayers paid nearly $95 million in medical expenses for illegal immigrants in federal custody that should have been used to support American veterans. Currently, over 1 million veterans are waiting for staff to process their claims. Freezing rain in the Pacific Northwest, freezing temperatures as far south as Florida, and sub-zero temperatures in the Midwest. National Weather Service sleep forecaster Bob Orvik says a new storm system is on the way.
There's going to be one more shot of really cold Arctic air that sinks southward out of Canada into the middle part of the country on Thursday and then eastward into the eastern U.S. on Friday. However, after that, it looks like the weather pattern changes and the temperatures are becoming more mild as we get into the beginning and middle part of next week.
Bob Orvik, National Weather Service lead forecaster. This is SRN News. News.com.
Buying some pretzel sticks?
Excuse me?
This is your wake-up call from TracFone Wireless.
Okay.
What if you didn't eat all those pretzel sticks by the end of the month, so this store took them back?
Good luck.
That's how some wireless companies are with your data, but TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited carryover data with active service, so you keep what you pay for. Plans start at $20 a month.
Wow, that's cool.
Sir, are you bothering the customers?
Yeah, hang on. This is your wake-up call, people. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Where can you be a star athlete and a math superstar? Where can you prepare for graduate school or your dream job and make friends for the journey? Where can you challenge your mind and inspire your soul? Experience a transforming education at LaGrange College, one of the South's most affordable.
Wishbone Fried Chicken.
Thank you.
It's back in a brand new location. 31 Jackson Street, Suite A here in Noonan. Same great taste. The best chicken around. Fish dinners. Open Monday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's Wishbone Fried Chicken right next door to their former location, bringing you the best chicken around. So great. Wishbone Fried Chicken, 31 Jackson Street, Suite A here in Noonan.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a top expert in medical, health, and life insurance? Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent for finding the perfect plan to fit your budget. She works with multiple companies, ensuring the best option just for you. Don't miss out on the chance to make the right choice for your financial future. 706-525-5931. Speak to Charmaine Preston, CP Financial, your top local sale agent.
Hank Arnold here from Coweta Force. Coweta Force is Noonan's own addiction recovery support center. We exist to provide recovery support services for individuals and family members who have been impacted by addiction. Our services are no cost, and all of our information is available on our website at www.cowetaforce.org or follow us on Facebook.
Hey sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of the Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Hey sports fans, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, drive time on WQEE. Braves Country is a Southern sports talk show with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. That's Braves Country with Mac McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. Weekdays 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Fernando of the RyanORadio Show, where I play all Vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Noonan, Georgia.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, sports nuts and inmates? Oh my goodness, it's time to get into lockdown in period number 2 on this True Crime Thursday for you. Coming this hour, we're going to talk a lot of true crime news. Plus, Aaron Rodgers is off of the Pat McAfee show. What was said, what can be done, and an Eagles player is gone. Who am I? RyanORadio Penitentiary host, the one, the only, Ryan O'Neill, of course, and no doubt about it, I'm the game. 50,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast. Shout it out loud across that RyanORadio media page. Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, and the Navajo Nation. Across that British Columbia Isles of Canada, and finally across the Jordan Communication of family radio stations, East Alabama, West Georgia, including right here at 99.1 FM, WQEE, the key, home of Southern sports and inspirational talk. We are the heartbeat of Atlanta, live all day with great live programming. And we've got a great guest coming up in the final period, but stay with us. We got some true crime news for you, your headline news, and everything. Straight edge, independent skeptic on your radio dial. And to my haters, I got one thing to say to you. Listen up, haters. That's right, I am the man around here. Damn straight I'm the man around here. Straight edge, independent skeptic, tell it like it is. Welcome you into period number 2. period number deuce. We are going on a True Crime Thursday adventure this morning, so stay with us. RyanORadio Penitentiary with your host, Ryan O'Neill. 9 minutes past the hour, 22 degrees, sunny skies in the Atlanta and Metro Atlanta areas, and we're across different states, listening to us across the world as well. And we appreciate you in East Alabama, West Georgia, as well as North Georgia, North Alabama, Tennessee, and North Florida tuning in all the way to South Carolina. We got people in the Midwest, Iowa, Idaho, and much more tuning in to our show. And of course, we appreciate everybody. Coming up in the final period, Courtney Liso joins us. She and I are going to talk about another unsolved homicide in small town USA. She is the co-host, along with her mom, of the Book of the Dead podcast. And she and I are going to speak about another unsolved, one of those homicides that are like, I can't believe this happened. But why didn't anybody know something? We'll talk about that because it is True Crime Thursday. But this hour for you folks, we have for you some true crime news that's unbelievable. Also, Aaron Rodgers is off the Pat McAfee show. He should be off the Pat McAfee show. Goodbye, Pat McAfee show. We'll talk about that and more coming up this hour. But like I said, Courtney Liso joins us in the final period for the Book of the Dead podcast. It is about 10 minutes past the hour. Currently 22 degrees, time and temperature brought to you by Acta Pest Control here in Noonan located at 34 Jefferson Street here in Noonan. Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Let's jump into some of the headlines this morning. Princess Kate is going to be in the hospital for 2 weeks after an operation on her midsection. Also, a new study published Wednesday found that 74% of wealthy people support higher taxes placed on their fortunes. Nearly 270 millionaires and billionaires urged world leaders in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum to go ahead and tax the wealthy because it's something that they're not addressing right now. And this will raise the economy and make it equal, or we will have something that's going to be a collapse. Wow, collapse. That's what they say. Could be a collapse in our society. Also, ladies and gentlemen, and other headline news for today. We told you yesterday that Hulk Hogan was on a scene in an aftermath of a serious car accident that he and another friend helped get a teenage woman out of her car. That report has not been updated since then, but Hulk Hogan was wearing his NWO shirt, and many people feel like this could make Hogan kind of come back. Got to come back if you think. New York Islam community is mourning the death of 5 victims of the same family killed in a car crash. An American man bites, and we told you about this last hour, a flight attendant from Japan, from Tokyo, Japan, going to Seattle. They had to return and put him under arrest. In the defraud case, judge threatens to remove the former president from the courtroom. And Pakistan launches an attack in Iran. These are some of the headline news you can check out on our WQEE page and read for yourself. We are not going to get into too much of them because you know what? That's not what we do here. Some of them are just not, viable. We're going to get into some true crime in a moment. What's up, Rodney? Thank you for your comment. Good morning to you, Rodney. Rodney W. We call you Rodney W. There's a lot of Rodneys out there. All right, quarterback Casey Thompson to play the 7th season in Oklahoma. Thompson previously played with Florida, Atlantic, Texas, and Nebraska. He went on X and said, "Hey, I'm coming home to Texas." The 25-year-old completed 63.3% of his passes of 509 yards, 59 and 5 interceptions in 3 games with Florida Atlantic. Wow. Well, this one's a big one. Kelsey's retiring. No, not Travis. He's not retiring from the Kansas City Chiefs because they're going to the playoffs. No. He's not retiring from his relationship with Taylor Swift. But his brother, Jason Kelsey, the Eagles All-Pro, is retiring after 13 seasons. The 36-year-old did not meet with the media after the Eagles 32-9 loss to Tampa Bay, which sends Tampa Bay into a game with a team that's probably going to beat them this coming up weekend in a wild card game of the weekend. As we got playoff games headed ahead. We'll talk about them tomorrow morning. The veteran lineman could be seen holding back tears and hugging all the coaches before he headed back to the locker room. Kelsey joined the Eagles back in the 6th round pick in 2011 in the draft. He's a 7th-time pro selection and 6 All-Pro. And, of course, he played against his brother Travis as the Eagles took on the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl not too long ago. And having the Kansas City Chiefs, was it the Chiefs that won? I think the Eagles won. The Eagles won, yeah. So he was a Super Bowl champion that year. Well, yeah, the Eagles are out this season as they lost to the Bucs, who move on to get their butts wiped by the next team, which I think is going to be the Lions. Yeah. So it wipes. That sounds a little too like you get up and do. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. Just wanted to say it like that. Try to keep it less cussing. Oh, there you go. Anyway, unless it's something that's needed. So congratulations. It's a sad day, but one of the Kelsey boys are retiring. So maybe he'll be up in the press box doing swerving like Swerve does. Swerve when I drive. I swerve when I drive. Doing the Noonan dance. Swerve when I drive. With Taylor Swift and his mom as they watched the Kansas City Chiefs get in action against the Bills this coming up weekend. Oh, man. The River Dragons beat the Hurricanes last night. And tonight it's got the Canadians in action against the Senators. The Avalanche and the Bruins, the Stars and the Flyers, the Wild and the Lightning, the Blues and the Capitals, and the Maple Leafs and the Flames. You'll hear more about all the NHL, Atlanta's NHL show, Rod Peterson show, CFL show, coming up today, midday to 2 p.m. with the Rod Peterson show on the network. And Rod has been getting a lot of action from you guys in the Georgia area and Alabama area. We appreciate all of our listeners supporting and writing and getting comments in there. We do have a lot of fantastic hockey fans, and we appreciate you guys. All right. Before we do anything else, Aaron Rodgers, he's off of the Pat McAfee show. And, Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee are proof that ESPN only wanted black talent to stick to sports. What is what they said? It's not what you say, but how you say it. But at ESPN, it's always felt like who has said it was more important than what was said. Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee haven't been sticking to sports for a while now, which was, and still is, what that company is all about. Sports. And they said it still is privilege for a former and current black employees aren't being a priority to. The term stick to sports, shut up and dribble are code language for, people who are black athletes to remain silent. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to get into this, but McAfee said some things that almost got him sued by the ESPN, which the company's also sister affiliates with ABC, about Jimmy Kimmel being on the list. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't even on the list. There's a lot of people on that list, and Jimmy Kimmel's not on that list. Now, I've told everybody here from day one, I'm not a big Jimmy Kimmel fan at all. Didn't like him back in his band show days. Don't like him and how he is. Don't really care for his comedy all that much. All right. Some of his guests, when he has Metallica and I'll check out the bands on there. He's had Slipknot on there. I'm a big heavy metal guy, so I'll watch that at the end of the show. But I'm a big Jimmy Kimmel fan. I never really followed his show or anything of that sort. Never thought he was that funny. But as a man, I understand no man wants to be put on a list that is connected to a predator that Chris Hansen should have caught years ago, but they wouldn't let him catch. To catch Jeff Epstein's. And That's what really got Aaron Rodgers in trouble. He didn't want to come back and apologize. Yeah, Aaron, you can dislike Jimmy Kimmel. You can dislike you. You can make jokes at each other's expense. But when it comes to something as serious as this list, Jimmy Kimmel was like ready to sue because, look, whoa. Call me all kind of names all day. That's fine. But, because I call you Karen Rodgers and all that kind of stuff. But to be placed on a list, nobody wants their name on that list or be associated with that list. It's a disgusting thing. This man has a family and kids and everything. And like I said, I'm not really a big fan of Jimmy Kimmel's, never was, but I am when it comes, and there's a lot of people out there I'm like that. But if somebody comes to you and tries to make you defame your name, and I'm not talking about, well, they're in entertainment. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. You look, to say Ryan O'Neal, I don't like him. I don't like him because he's not 100% on the conservative side. He's not 100% on the liberal side. He's independent. He makes fun of everybody. I don't like him. That's fine. I'm down with that. I don't care. And I'm sure none of these people care. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers don't really care being made fun of. But for somebody to say, hey, John Jones is on the list of predators, yeah, that's kind of disgusting. Nobody wants to be associated with something like that. No one. Gail, thank you for joining us, Gail, in Tennessee. It's probably snowing up there in Tennessee. So I can understand where some of these people, where ABC was like, okay, and Aaron Rodgers comes back instead of apologizing, he's like, well, they really took it out of content. So-and-so's John Jones is on the predators list. He's a predator. He'll chase your daughter. Don't let him around your daughter. John Jones says, hey, don't say that about me. Well, John Jones took it out of content that I said that about him. Okay. No, you can't just get all defensive about what you say wrong and go, well, you took it out of content. It's freedom of speech. No, it's not freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is say, hey, Jimmy Kimmel is not a funny guy. You can say that. Jimmy Kimmel, he and I disagree politically. He's not really funny. I think Cat Williams is more funny. That's what Aaron Rodgers can say. Not, oh, dude's on the list and then the dude's going to say, well, he took it out of content. So ABC's like, look, this guy can't come back on. And then he's saying all this stuff about other players and stuff. And Pat McAfee, who, got that midday slot on ESPN radio and television, they have to blurb out a lot of their cussing and stuff for radio. It's like a 10-second delay. Like people have to drop F-bombs and S-bombs every time to have a proven fact. Only the uneducated do that. And because I'm mad about something. Who cares? You drop things like that because you talk like that. You shouldn't be in this business. Well, I'm going to the internet and do it on Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, nobody really cares. Why? Because you're not the mainstream media. You're not ABC Network putting The Bachelor on. They don't care about you outside of your area. Well, I'm talking about something. Well, they don't care. It's the same way with this. They don't care who Aaron Rodgers is that he plays quarterback for the Jets. Play quarterback for the Jets. He needs to go out there and play. That's what he needs to do. He doesn't need to have this opinion because a small portion of our society has the same opinion he does. A small portion of our society has an opinion. And just because he made this terrible remark towards a comedian of the same company under the same affiliate, and he could not come back and apologize and say it was taken out of content. It was not taken out of content, dude. You said it. It was not taken out of content. You said it, bro. You said it. You did not. It was not taken out of content. You said it. All the dropping of the F-bombs. To me, I'm sorry. I could not sit there and listen or watch the Pat McAfee show. He's great on the mic when he's with the WWE, but I can't. There's only so much. I cannot watch no more than less than a minute or two of his show. Sorry. I'm sorry that people go, well, it's a good show. I don't care how big money, how much money, how big a star he is. I don't care. Okay. And I think it was smart for the company to tell him, hey, take him off your show. And then when McAfee was like, well, I've been canceled by both parties. Who cares? They become an independent. And if both parties cancel you, whatever, who cares? Those people have opinions too. But we act like only a certain portion of people need to have opinions, and everybody else needs to shut up and just listen to those opinions. I could care less. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there that don't even know what they're doing that's in this business. And Pat McAfee needs to stay to the sports because he's funny when he talks wrestling, when he talks sports, when they talk about what's going on there, talk about Nick Saban. When he comes out there and he does those pre-game shows in college and everything, he is funny. That's what he needs to stick to doing. Leave his political friends out of things is what I think he needs to do. Aaron Rodgers gone is where he needs to be. I personally 110% glad he's off of there. If he could come back and say, look, what I said was wrong, I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. But you're starting to make people feel bad. Stick to the sports. Shut up and dribble when they say things like that. They are saying it. Guys. And we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, and this is why he's off the show now. He's not off the show because he's canceled. He's off the show because he literally lied about another affiliate's program and everything, and the guy's not even on the list. So, I mean, if the guy was on the list, then we're like, okay, he was right, but he wasn't. So, I wonder if Aaron's on that list. I don't know. Hey, man. Hey, Aaron Rodgers. Were you afraid the list come out? Maybe you're one of the ones that blocked your name. I don't know. Now you see how it feels to be called out? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that about you, Aaron. You see, it's just that easy, buddy. You could have said the same thing about Kimball. And like I said, I'm not taking up Kimball because I'm a big Jimmy Kimmel fan, because he's not my kind of comedian. Never liked him on the Man Show. Don't really watch his show, so there you go. All right, now we're done telling the truth here. You can't handle the truth, as they would say. You can't handle the truth. Also, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Tell me when I'm telling lies. People can't. Let's do one news story, true crime news story, before we take a break and come back and get into more true crime. And, of course, we'll take a look at your active weather forecast for the metro Atlanta and Atlanta area. But first, here's some stuff that's going on with some headline true crime news from Idaho Falls, Idaho. A 42-year-old man reportedly confessed to fatally stabbing his missing girlfriend in the chest and keeping her body in an RV for several weeks. In early January, Bozeman Police Department reported a missing person alert on Megan Stedman and shared a photo of a white RV she was known to be traveling in. The Idaho Falls Police Department received a call from someone who saw the motorhome in the area. Officers went to the motorhome, made contact with Chris Foles, and who is from Spokane, Washington. Idaho Falls police said they discovered evidence linking him to Stedman's disappearance and death, so they arrested him on suspicion of murder. Wow. According to court documents there at KHQ-TV, Stedman was last seen live December 15th in Bozeman, Montana. On January 12th, Idaho Falls police officers reported seeing Chris leave the RV, and when they went to speak with him, he allegedly said, "I'm Chris Foles. I killed my girlfriend. She's in the RV." What a jackleg. At least he admitted. Now he's behind bars. I guess he thinks he's going to get a little bit more, get it easier. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to take a break. Coming back in a moment. We're at 28 minutes past the hour. We'll take a look at your traffic here, as well as what's coming up for you in the next episode, next portion of the show, the second part of the show. When we come back from the break, we got more true crime. It's True Crime Thursday. And our guest, Courtney Liso from the Book of the Dead podcast, co-host with her mom, joins us this morning for another unsolved homicide in period number 3. We'll get into period number 2, continues rolling on right after this break. Good morning, folks.
near 50, winds light and variable. Overcast skies with little rain showers this evening, low near 37. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour, chance of rainfall 60%. Heading to your Friday morning, morning clouds give away sunshine by the afternoon, high near 41. Northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. Back down to 16 tomorrow night, clear skies.
What's up, Gail? Thank you for mentioning me.
Saturday, high near 33, sunny skies. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday night, 14 degrees, clear skies, very cold. North winds around 5 to 10 miles per hour. By here Sunday, high near 43 with low near 24. That's your active weather forecast, sponsored by Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street here in Newton. Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, or QE things at all. Active Pest Control offers the best services and prices to protect your home, offering both monthly and quarterly pest control services, plus specific services like bed bug, turning roach, and flea control. Even if you can't see them, insects are all around you 24/7. Active Pest Control wants to be the first line of defense. Active Pest Control, repair, bond, best termite coverage around. Active Pest Control, 34 Jefferson Street, Newton, 770-954-9941.
Hey there, folks. Looking for a top expert in medical, health, and life insurance? Look no further than CP Financial. Meet Charmaine Preston, your trusted agent for finding the perfect plan to fit your bill. She works with multiple companies, ensuring the best option just for you. Don't miss out on the chance to make the right choice for your financial future. 706-525-5931. Speak to Charmaine Preston, CP Financial, your top local sales agent.
Have you been considering a career in real estate? At Keller Williams Realty Atlanta Partners, we prepare you to excel in your real estate career by providing award-winning training, family-based culture, and lead generation tools to build a business that lasts. If you're interested in learning about our pre-licensed school or how to get started, call 678-634-9770 or visit our website, atlantapartnersrealestateschool.com today.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
Sunday, January 28th, Hollywood. Haley J is coming to Memphis Wrestling. Plus, the return of James Ellsworth. You can see right now at MemphisWrestling.tv.
And you can check out Memphis Wrestling on WQMK TV, 18 on Roku and in Auburn, Alabama. Memphis Wrestling, right there. Go.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of a 45's Affair radio show, where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Newton, Georgia.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into the only show that tells it like it is and tells the truth. It's RyanORadio Penitentiary. You're in lockdown with us this morning. A lot of great people. All of our people in the Navajo Nation with us. Everybody everywhere, all over in Canada. 50,000 plus of you worldwide. And we're across the YouTube page now that we're just promoting. That's right. All right, let's jump into it. It's time for some true crime at 33 minutes past the hour. 22 degrees, time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. Michael the Crew can exterminate them for you. You're listening to Atlanta and Metro Atlanta's very own WQEE 99.1 FM. We're Atlanta, Alabama, Tennessee, and North Florida and South Carolina's radio station there. We have a lot of people within those areas. Plus, we're out in the Midwest, Iowa, Idaho, and everything joining us. Let's jump into this. Speaking of that, let's go to Indiana for this next guy. St. Paul, Indiana, a 22-year-old man is facing child molestation charges and other charges after his underage girlfriend reportedly gave birth to his child. Court records say that Stephen Hamilton Jr. was charged on January 10th with child molestation, where the defendant was at least 21 years of age. Child molestation and sexual misconduct with a minor. He's arrested on January 16th and booked in the Shelby County Jail. Hamilton and the girl had been dating for about 2 years, starting from the time she was around 12 and he was 20. Ugh. They reportedly connected through mutual friends. Hamilton allegedly told investigators the girl told him she was 16 years old, but they continued to date even after he learned her real age. He allegedly said they enjoyed spending time with each other, but did not go out in public as a couple. I'm sure they didn't. She was a child. Ugh. The teen told officers she met Hamilton when she was buying a phone at Walmart and two began, a sexual relationship after that. According to the documents, where was her mom at 12 years old? Where was her mom? She's 14 now. Where's her mom? According to the documents, the teen said she was not sure if Hamilton was the child's father because she had reportedly been raped by a 14-year-old. She reportedly acknowledged the law noting minors under 15 cannot have sex. Investigators allegedly found text messages and sexual videos involving the teen and Hamilton on his phone. Hamilton also wants to know, how can I get out of this? Can I get on that list that all those other people are on? You know, that Epstein's list where all those no wrongdoings are being done. Doesn't matter if they're actors or politicians on which side of the aisle. He wants to know how to get on that list so he can get out of it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm making fun of the list because those people are going to get away with it, and this scumbum is not. I'm glad this scumbum's going to jail, though. I'm glad that Chris Hansen didn't catch him and they let him out like they did with so many of those predators. So, wow. Daggone. First of all, why was a 12-year-old at Walmart by herself? Second of all, where was her parents while she's running around with this grown man? Ugh. 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 I just got a chill because how disgusting that was. Oh, man. Let's get into another one that's disgusting. Let's go from a guy to a woman. Yeah. And her sexual relationship with a child, inappropriate relationship. School counselor accused of inappropriate relationship with a child captured in Mexico after years on the run. That's right. Laredo, Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, boy. I'll tell you what, law enforcement officials recently captured a former counselor who's in Mexico who had been on the run since 2015 after she allegedly sexually assaulted a young girl. 34-year-old Iris Rodriguez had been wanted since January of 2015 on 3 counts of indecency with a child, 3 counts of harassment, and a couple of other things. Rodriguez worked as a counselor for child and parent services. Wow. Allegedly engaged in an inappropriate relationship with an 11-year-old child. Ugh. She also wants to know how she can get on the list the same way as this other guy did, since all those people on that list are probably not going to be charged. Rodriguez reportedly worked for the Border Region Behavioral Health Center, which allowed her to visit the victim at school under the pretext of a guidance counselor supporting the child. Texas 10 most wanted fugitives, and she was on the list and reward up to $10,000 for information leading to her arrest. DPS special agents received a tip, and members of the ICP organization in Mexico arrested Rodriguez in a small town in Mexico, Gels Cove, called Gels Cove, on December 11th. Gels Cove, perfect place for Gels Cove. She's going to go straight to jail and do not pass go. Gels Cove, and she's going to go straight to jail and do not pass go. Go. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, and all these predators out here. I'm glad they're getting caught. Glad predators are getting caught. I don't support any predator. I don't care who they are. If they're on the list, I don't support them. Sorry if that makes you mad. I'm a real Christian, so I can't support them. Oh, let's talk about this though. Let's go to an actual marriage to two people of the same age. But there's a little bit more to it. In Los Gatos, California, a 56-year-old man is in custody after allegedly killing his 40-year-old wife and dumping her remains in a remote area of Santa Cruz Mountains. Ugh. This happened, according to a release from the police department there on January 8th. Officers received information that Ying Dong Yang's employer hadn't heard from her since before New Year's Day, and they couldn't reach her. So her husband, John Yeager, reportedly provided a statement regarding his wife's whereabouts, like, it was incoherent. Police alleged that Ying and Yeager were involved in a domestic violence incident on the night of December 31st, New Year's Eve, which caused their death. On January 10th, several law enforcement agents started working together to investigate Ying's disappearance and to ensure that the safety of the children within the home. Yeager was arrested, and the next day he was connected to a domestic incident. Upon investigation, police found that there was some foul play. Yeager remains in the Santa Clara County Department of Corrections with additional charges related to his wife's alleged death. The investigation is ongoing. Good morning, Andrew Bolanos. What's up? You're supposed to say good morning, cutie. And I'm supposed to go back, good morning, beautiful. That's what you're supposed to say. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back here on the network, we'll have more true crime stuff for you, true crime news. And coming up into the final period of play today, Courtney Liso, the co-host with her mom on the Book of the Dead podcast, joins us for an unsolved homicide. We'll talk about that coming up in the final period of play. But first, we got a few more true crime news stories for you. Back in a moment.
Performing Arts invites you to travel to the magic world of ancient China. Experience a lost culture brought to life with incredible classical Chinese dance, magical scenery, and soul-stirring music. Shen Yun. Coming to River Center for the Performing Arts, January 23rd only. Tickets at shenyun.com/Columbus-GA. That's SHENYUN.com/Columbus-GA.
LaGrange, Georgia, Sweetland Lights, November 17th through February 11th. Adults, kids,
why is everybody not on? Why are you coming off?
Just to hang out here in the fire pit, drinks, monthly movies, food truck Friday nights beginning in December. Weather updates and hour changes on the Facebook at Sweetland on Ice or Instagram at Sweetland on Ice Official. To book a party or learn more about seasonal passes, contact Lizzie at sweetlandamp.com. Lizzie at sweetlandamp.com.
Hello, I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited we have just moved to this new company. And we are located at 560 Noonan Crossing Bypass and in next to Art and Jake's. And we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies. And we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
The House of Light brings clarity to your soul, offering a safe space for healing through our compassionate practitioners.
We'll have the dumb crook coming up for you.
Classes and wisdom, plus the tools to support you in our retail space.
What is good? 99.1 WQEE The Key. We got the hottest new show coming to you live, The Jet Stream. Tune in every Saturday on your 9 a.m. morning drive.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of a 45's Affair radio show where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Noonan, Georgia.
You got that right, fellow. Thank you very much, DJ Commando, introducing us back into the show. RyanORadio Penitentiary cruises on. We're about 15 minutes away from the top of the next hour. Still to come this morning, Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great guest in the final period, Courtney Liso from the Book of the Dead podcast. Plus, we're going to get you ready for the weekend ahead. Tomorrow morning on the show, Action Wrestling is going to be in Metro Atlanta area of Noonan next Friday night. And we're going to be having the CEO, Matt Griffin, join us tomorrow morning talking about the big event. And they're raising funds for the middle school over there that they're performing at. We'll talk more about that and who's going to be all involved and what are the big matches. Tomorrow on the show, that's in the final period, we'll get in the ring with Matt and Action Wrestling. All right, let's jump into it this morning on the RyanORadio Penitentiary. More true crime news. Mississippi woman. We're going to go to Mississippi now. Jackson, Mississippi. I know where that's at. Oh, yes. Afraid so. An appeals court denied a woman's motion to overturn her conviction after she was found guilty and sentenced in life for killing her boyfriend and then locking his body in a freezer. I mean, that's what you do in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying, boy? You kill them, you put them in, you freeze them in the freezer right beside your popsicles and your ice cream and all that steak he bought. The Mississippi Appeals Court released an opinion regarding Samantha Simmons' case on Tuesday, January 16th, after affirming her 2022 conviction of receiving stolen property and first-degree murder of Thomas Burns in 2018. Burns and Simmons met in early 2018, a few months after his wife, Pamela Burns, died from bone cancer. Burns relapsed into drug use following Pamela Burns' death and carried her urn everywhere he went. Burns and Simmons started dating, and Simmons moved in with him shortly afterwards. In 2018, his neighbor reportedly stopped hearing from him and seeing him around. Like, where's old Tommy? Where's old Tommy at, man? He's usually out here doing, barbecues and stuff. Well, Burns and one of his neighbors who go by the nickname of Jaybird, come on, Jaybird, it's Mississippi, come on. Usually had coffee every morning. Jaybird went to check on Burns, and Simmons reportedly said he moved to Texas. Jaybird said, however, he didn't believe because Burns' 5 cars were still in the house, still at the home. Hey, why are the cars here? Boy. Hey, man. Where's old Tommy at, man? He's moved on, moved to Texas. Why ain't I get a car? Jaybird, get on out of my yard. I got to make fun of the names. Sorry. This story is serious, but still the names are in. The opinion said a second friend checked in on Burns, but Simmons also told him Burns moved away. The friend, Debo, got knocked out. Tried filing a missing persons report, but the Lamar County Sheriff's Office said he wasn't allowed to because he wasn't related. Man, you can't fight Debo. You can't come in here saying that old Tommy's missing. You just can't do that. Oh, man. On May 21st, 2018, Debo reportedly saw a truck towing furniture from Burns' house. He called the sheriff's office, so a deputy arrived with 2 men to search the house. While they did, they found a green urn with Pamela Burns' ashes and a gray urn. Debo said Burns told him he wanted his ashes to be placed in the gray one when he died. And there was nothing in it. Next day, Debo, Jaybird, and Burns' brother went back to the house. There was music playing on the stereo. The front door was open, and the house was empty except for one urn, cleaning supplies, and the freezer. The men took the sheet off the freezer and noticed the padlock on it. They found it strange, so one of the men crowbarred it off, and they found Burns' body. Ugh. Debo and Jaybird, along with brother, found that body. Investigators reported they found Simmons' DNA on the zip ties and charged her with murder. In an appeals court, she reportedly argued there was not enough evidence to convict her of 2 charges. I mean, it wasn't enough evidence. I didn't do it. Hey. He moved. I told you he moved. Debo and Jaybird just come over here all the time because they want me. They made old Tommy jealous. Get my phone back up charging. Sorry, guys, for coming off. You need to stay on. You come off. you're going to lose everything. Jaybird and Debo and everything. So I guess they called Tommy T-Bone. I don't know what they did. Wow, that was kind of sick. She thought she was just going to get away with it. Well, I am a pretty woman in the South, in Mississippi. We tried it in a small town. 36-year-old Casey Miller of Crockett County, Tennessee, is our daily dumbass of the day. Dum, da, dum, dum, dum. Crook of the day. You want to know why Casey Miller is the dumb crook of the day? It's not because she's from Crockett County, Tennessee. No. She's going to be facing several charges after she was arrested driving down the street with her teenage daughter on top of the vehicle. Miller allegedly drove reckless down the street in a fit of rage after her and her teenager daughter got into it. Whatever, mama. Well, and she jumps on top of the car. I'm not going anywhere, mama. Yes, you are. You're leaving, and I'm taking you. Well, the daughter was on top of the vehicle and was still on top of the vehicle as she was rushing down the street. Miller was arrested and taken into custody. She's since been released, and she has not released a statement. She just said, my daughter pissed me off. That's what you do to your kids, That's how you take care of them now. I tell you what. That's why kids don't mess around in the South. Mama throw you on top of the car and take off down the road down the interstate, going to the Kroger's or the Food Max or the Food Depot or the Smiths. Don't you dare I'm punishing you. You stay on top of that car right now. You get off the top of that car, you fall off that car and get run over. I'm gonna come back and run over you. Don't make me come back there. If you fall off this car and you get hurt, I'm going to give you something to be hurt for. (1968) mindset. Everybody like, maybe your daughter made her mad. Hell, a lot of people make me mad. A lot of family members make me mad, but do you think I'm going to put them on the top of the car and take off with them? I don't know. It might be a good idea. I don't know. Heck. I'm just kidding. Man, maybe she's not the dumb crook of the day. Maybe she did come up with something unique. I don't know. I'm saying dum, da, dum, dum, dum. All right, we're going to take a break. Back in a moment. More on the way. Uh-oh. No. Here we go again. Here we go again.
I am Apostle Deborah Harris, Apostle of Kingdom Connected Ministries International at 121 Hillwood Circle, Newnan, Georgia.
Debo! What a name!
Connecting kingdom citizens, kingdom businesses, and advancing the kingdom of God in this hour. Join us each Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. with guests who are sharing their faith, business, and ministry.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of the Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Sunday, January 28th, Hollywood Haley J is coming to Memphis Wrestling. Plus, the return of James Ellsworth. Get Get your tickets right now at MemphisWrestling.tv.
Check out Memphis Wrestling on WQMK TV 18 in Auburn, Alabama, and on the Roku Memphis Wrestling. Stay with us, stay with us, stay with us. RyanORadio Penitentiary cruising on this edition of your favorite radio show. Courtney Liso joins us in the final period. We're going to talk about another unsolved homicide in small-town USA across the nation. That's right. Yeah, I did it with that Daily Dumbness. I mean, she's riding around with her kid on her car, and you got Debo and Jay Bird over here finding out that T-Bone got put in the freezer by his girlfriend. Mississippi for you right there. Tennessee, Mississippi, buddy. I bet you know about that part of Tennessee there. Got some Tennessee listeners. You know, they're like, maybe she was a smart woman. I don't know. I called her the Daily Dumbest of the day, but you know, sometimes you just got to punish your kids. That might be the best way to do it. That might be the best way to do it. I don't know. Put them on the top of the car. I don't know. Put them on top of the car. There you go. We're going to take a break. Back in a moment. WQEE, good morning.
Good morning, it's Courtney.
Hey, Courtney, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good for a cold Thursday morning.
Yeah.
We're not used to this kind of weather here.
Oh, I bet. It's freezing up here, too.
Oh, I know. All this winter weather having to come through during the winter months. I mean, it could wait. It could wait till another time of the year to do this. I mean, oh. Well, we're getting ready to go to the top of the hour break, so we got a couple of minutes. And then we'll get in. Then we'll get on. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Let's see here. I'm going to use this as an intro.
The pause button appears to have been hit on the planned merger between two of the largest grocery chains in the country. Kroger's and Albertsons are saying.
So did you have a good Christmas?
It was good. It was nice. It was quiet.
That's the best Christmas yet.
Yeah. Usually it's super hectic. So this year we just stayed home.
That's the best way to do it. Always sitting at home, it's quiet. Same way New Year's Eve. Did you guys go party on New Year's Eve?
I actually stayed home New Year's Eve because I had to work like early in the morning.
Right.
My husband went to his mom and they had like a little thing. And I was like, I'm staying home. I can't. Until like, I don't think he rolled in until like 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't do that.
Wow. And then it was time for you to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I learned as I grow older that New Year's Eve is not as fun as it was when you were younger. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's not as fun. So it's like my birthday's the day before, and like everyone's like,
oh,
we do something the day before.
Well, New Year's Eve, you're a New Year's Eve baby, so you get birthday gifts, and everybody's celebrating your birthday at the end of the night. Around the world, you can tell everybody that. You can say, my birthday goes off as a big bash at midnight with fireworks. So that's how special I am.
Suggested in fiscal year 2022, taxpayers paid nearly $95 million in medical expenses for illegal immigrants in federal custody, which should have been used to support American veterans. Currently, over 1 million veterans are waiting for staff to process claims. Freezing rain in the Pacific Northwest, freezing temperatures as far south as Florida, and sub-zero temperatures in the Midwest. National Weather Service fleet forecaster Bob Orbeck says a new storm system's on the way.
That's exactly what we want to hear. New storm system on the way. More snow, more rain, more cold.
Oh, I hate it. I hate the snow, I hate the rain.
I know.
Bob Orbeck, National Weather Service fleet forecaster. This is SRNews.com.
WQEE.
I know exactly, because it's like having to deal with stuff at that house and then it being cold. It's like, wait a minute. And here in the South, there, like, it gets down to 12 degrees. Sometimes the school's out the next day because of classes or not warm enough for kids. And then you got some parents going, well, when I was a kid, it's like, no, when we were kids, we were abused if we were sent to school. That's called abuse, guys. They abused us on these cold buses. Come on. It wasn't we were tough. I don't understand the saying some people have, like, your kids that can't sit there and try to learn English or math when there's no heat. And like some of the schools we have here, we had a tornado a couple of years ago that tore up one of the high schools here. So they're still working on the high school. So the kids are in those portable buildings that they put in, that they used for, summer school, which were always hot in the summer. And that's what they're using. And there's no heat or air in these buildings.
Oh, geez, that's terrible.
Yeah, so them having to go into school for a couple hours later or taking the day off, some people are like, well, they're going to take the day off. It's only 12 degrees out there. It's like, yeah, it's only 12 degrees. And the wind chill, and it's blowing up to 25 miles an hour. We're not used to that in the South, buddy. It's been that way this whole week in schools in Alabama and Georgia, because that's how far the stations gets out here locally. They've been letting me know they're closing and everything, and I'm like, okay. Or whether they are going to be 2 hours late, and that's been since Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were closed on Monday for MLK Day. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, it was. I think they're actually getting back to school today because we're 22 degrees, so we can handle that.
Yeah.
Handle that, little space heaters. The teacher has the space heater. The rest of the children have to be bundled up. I'm kidding. But yeah, they're back to school. So if we can't handle 13 degrees and it rains, because there might be a little bit of ice in that, and ice hits the ground, we don't have to drive on ice here. We don't use salt on the ground here. We use it in our food. So. Yeah, we're not gonna put no salt down. That's wasteful. Got to put it in our fried chicken. So that's how it is. All right, let's see here. I think we're gonna play this on intro.
Fishbone Fried Chicken is back in a brand new location. 31
Yeah, we'll get ready to go on.
Same great
There's that.
best chicken around. Fish dinners open Monday through Saturday, 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's Wishbone Fried Chicken, right next door to their former location, bringing you the best chicken around. So great. Wishbone Fried Chicken, 31 Jackson Street, Suite A, here in Newton.
All right, this works.
You want me to sit down? Why? Who did this?
The briefing, 1 week after the murder of 2 Dartmouth College professors.
The most unlikely victims you could imagine. Suddenly butchered in their home.
That's right.
Police say they don't know who killed them or why.
We all felt something ominous in that town.
Investigators had clear evidence.
Unbelievable. The suspects were now 2 high school kids.
Our hope and belief is that they didn't do this.
An absolute mystery to everyone is what the motive could have been.
There was no connection. They really wanted to know why this happened.
Cannot judge a book by its cover when it comes to evil. And that's exactly what they were, evil.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
It's the final period of play, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a great one here today, so stay with us. We're going to go inside some true crime. We're going to open up the Book of the Dead today, so get ready for that. It's True Crime Thursday in the final period of play. You're tuned in here, and you're in lockdown. Good morning. Thank you, Sheriff, for joining us too. It's RyanORadio Penitentiary. I'm your host of the most, the one, the only, Ryan O'Neal. And of course, yes, I am the game. 50,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast, Shout It Out Loud. Across that, Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, the Navajo Nation. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and the RyanORadio media page on the Spreaker. Across East Alabama, West Georgia, on the Jordan Communication of Family radio stations, including right here at 99.1 FM WQEE, the key, home of Southern sports and inspirational talk. We're the heartbeat of Atlanta, and we're at a cool one this morning. 8 minutes past the hour, 23 degrees. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's True Crime Thursday, and we got a great guest coming up. We're going to go to the Book of the Dead next. And to all of our haters out there, I got one thing to say to you. Listen up close to this. I am the man around here, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today, as always, let's get that music there. I get a little freezing up on the computer today. Sorry about that. Welcome from the Book of the Dead podcast. She co-hosts this with her mother, which they enjoy looking into crimes. Please welcome the one, the only, Courtney Liso. Good morning, Courtney. How you doing this morning?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good on this Thursday morning, and glad to have you with us and ready to jump into our subject in just a few moments. But before we do that, just want to say, how was your Christmas holidays and New Year's holidays?
It was good. It was quiet, which I like.
Good. I understand. I always like to have that kind of silence at the holidays too. And then of course, everybody was celebrating your birthday at midnight on New Year's Eve, I heard, with fireworks.
Yeah.
How special is that everybody is celebrating your birthday at the same time, passing, going out, spending the whole night out there, getting ready for a brand new year and celebrating your birthday? I mean, doesn't that make you feel special?
It definitely did when I was younger. Now I can't hang.
Now you can't hang. Oh, I know. We're getting up in age. Back in the day when we were going to school, the buses drove up the hill one way and down the hill the other way in the snow,
Yep.
Grandpa used to say he'd walk the hill up and down the hill in snow, but we were on them buses. That's right.
Yes.
Well, Courtney, I'm glad to have you with us here, as we always do, an unsolved homicide with you, our homicides, unsolved homicide, our solved homicides. And we're going to talk about a special one today that wasn't really that long ago. I mean, it happened January 27th, 2001. So what are we diving into this morning? What are we talking about?
So this is, the case we're talking about is the murder of Haf and Susanna Zandhoff. They were
Wow.
a German couple. This is referred to as the Dartmouth murders because
Yeah.
they both worked at Dartmouth University.
Right. Wow. Well, let's learn a little bit about them. Who were they?
So Haf Zandhoff was born in 1938 in Germany. His father was a printer, his mother was a homemaker, he was the youngest of four. And when he was one, his family actually moved to Spain because World War II was going on, so they moved to escape. And they actually kind of went back and forth. They went back to Germany and they went back to Spain. And Haf was just really fascinated by Earth and geology, and he ended up getting his geology degree in Freiburg University before moving to the U.S. to pursue a doctorate at Stanford. And that's where he met Susanna Krasukowitz, who was also from Germany. And she was like whip smart. She was so intelligent. She had a political science degree.
Okay.
And then she moved to America to start her master's degree at Stanford. And once they met, that was it. It was history. They traveled the world together and they got married. They had two girls. And then in 1976, after living in Germany for a little while, Haf was hired as the geology professor at Dartmouth. So they went back to America.
Wow. Wow. You know, one of the top universities across the country here, and he's a part of that. Well, what happened on January 27th, 2001?
So Haf and Susanna were known for their dinner parties. They were those people that, you know, for anything, it didn't matter if it was good news, bad news, whatever news, you know, they were going to throw a dinner party for someone, for any occasion, and they were going to have a dinner party on January 27th. So they were hosting, and one of their friends, Roxana, arrived at their home in Etna, New Hampshire at around 6:30.
Okay.
And he gets there, and the front door is wide open, which was
weird,
a little unusual, but not super unusual because they were expecting guests.
Okay.
But when he stepped inside the house, she found the bodies of Susanna and Haf in the study, just covered in blood. It was like a bloodbath.
Oh, wow. I mean, what was the first thought that came to mind by walking in on your friends like this? I mean, I know shock is the first thing that would happen, and you call 911. What was their thoughts on this? Did they think it was a break-in that went wrong? Was it something else that happened? What was the first initial thoughts?
So pretty much as soon as police arrived, and they came so quick, when they arrived, they pretty much threw the idea of burglary right out the window.
Okay.
Because the Zandhoff's home was filled with all sorts of valuables from all of their traveling, you know, like antiques, and they had like a lot of laptops and, you know, things like that, because they were both professors. But the killer didn't take anything except perhaps wallet, which they thought was just kind of a convenience thing, because again, like, you took his wallet, sure, but you left behind all of these valuable things.
Right. Wow.
So they didn't think pretty much right off the bat that burglary was the thing, but now they had to figure out what the motive was.
There had to be a motive. This is a bloody scene. Two top professors in their industry, very well respected. And, you know, it had to be going through people's minds. Who could have done this? Who was their enemies? And what evidence did police find as they started investigating into this horrible scene?
So the biggest thing they found, well, they found a few. They found bloody footprints made from a left boot inside and outside of the home, as well as some fingerprints. And they also had a witness saying that he saw a young white male, possibly in his 20s, speed out of the driveway in a van. But they also found two items that they believe belonged to the murderer, and that was two 7-inch blades, or I'm sorry, two sheaths to two 7-inch blades. And these knives were identified to be SOG Steel 2000 knives, which are used for combat and are known to do a lot of damage. Like, these are not knives that you get at the grocery store.
Right.
These are like special military grade knives.
Wow. So it belonged to the killer or killers, but at the time they were looking at one killer. Did they think this was a before police started looking for a suspect or suspects? Were they thinking that this was one suspect or two suspects when they first started investigating in this, or more than one?
So I think, kind of based on finding the two sheaths, that they kind of thought right off the bat it was more than one killer. Besides the fact that Half and Susanna weren't that up there in age, they were relatively young
Right.
for this, so it would be very difficult for one killer to overpower two grown adults.
Right. So they were thinking a couple of people have done this. Well, as they were tracing back to the possibility of finding out the suspects, tell us a little bit about those two suspects. Who did they come up with, or did they come up with some people before they come up with the two initial suspects? And who were those two initial suspects?
So this investigation moved super quickly.
Wow.
And I think it was because that pressure of having these two well-respected individuals being murdered in a town where murder just really didn't happen in. So the state and local police were doing everything they could to identify the killers. And that included working with the manufacturers of the knives to get a list of people who had recently purchased them within the last few months. And they did get a hit, and they saw that a shipment of two knives had been shipped to a Jim Parker in Chelsea, Vermont, which is right across the border from Hanover, a few weeks before the murder. They also learned that Jim Parker was a 16-year-old boy.
Whoa. 16.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they immediately go talk to Jim Parker, and this was only a couple of weeks later. It was on February 15th.
Right.
And, they asked him, why'd you buy these knives? His parents are super cooperative, but Jim is super nervous. And he says that he bought these knives for himself and his friend Robert Tulloch, who was 17, in order to build forts. And basically the knives were too heavy. They sold them for $120 to someone at a store in Burlington, and that was it. So they speak to Robert, and Robert is not nervous at all. He is super cocky, and police, ask him the same questions. He tells them the same story, but they see that he has a cut on his leg, and they ask him about it. And he said, oh, well, I fell going down an embankment. I cut it on like a maple syrup spigot.
Okay.
And so they asked to see his shoes, and he hands them the shoes, and they find that they are the same exact type of shoes that left the footprints at the Xantops. But the police are going, these are a couple of kids.
Right.
Like, there's no way they're involved, but they have to.
16-year-old, they got to be more than one person. So as they kept investigating what happened in this situation, what happened after police questioned both Jim and Robert, and were they able to connect them to anybody else or figure out these guys did this?
So the police, talk to them, and they're suspicious of them, but again, they're like, there's no way that these kids, murdered this couple.
Right.
So they tell them, you know what, we're going to keep investigating, don't go anywhere.
Right.
Except the next evening, Robert grabs $340, gets in his mom's car, and picks up Jim, and they leave.
Oh. So where did these guys go? Did they head south to Florida? Where were they going? North to Canada?
So they drove as far as Massachusetts before they abandoned the car,
anymore.
Okay.
And at this point, the parents realize that they're missing, call the police, an APB goes out, and this manhunt is launched to find them.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then in the meantime, investigators, because they've been notified, they start analyzing Robert's boots, and they find a blood stain on them that matched half DNA.
Oh.
And they were able to match Robert and Jim's fingerprints that were given willingly to prints found in the Sankoff's home.
Wow.
Besides the fact
Right.
that they search Robert's house and they find the knives in homemade sheets under his bed in a box, and the blood on them did match Susanna's. And
Wow.
in New Jersey, they get as far as New Jersey. I'm assuming they hitchhiked, and they approached a trucker, basically like, "Hey, can you get us to California?"
Wow.
This trucker feels so bad for these kids, and he's like, "You know what? I'll give you a ride." And he actually lost his job for doing that because it was not allowed.
Right. Dude lost his job because he felt bad for these kids and they wanted to get to California and didn't even know he had 2 suspected murderers sitting up in the vehicle. Now, did Robert and Jim make it to California, or did they get picked up or caught before anything, or what happened to their story? Because we're going to get back to why they had a motive behind Half and Suzanne's murder in just a moment. But did they make it? Did they make it to California? California
They
loving.
did not.
No.
So James had called on the radio saying, like, "Hey, you know, I'm going to take these guys as far as Indiana. Could anyone pick them up?" And a police sergeant was watching the radio in the hopes that someone would call for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just gets on the phone and he's like, "You know, hey, why don't you drop them off at the fuel desk? Someone will pick them up in a few minutes." And so this man, James, did, and the
Okay.
boys were met by police at the truck stop in Indiana at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they are both arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder.
Whoa. Thinking they're going to Indiana to get another ride to as far as they can get, and the police pick them up. I mean, Indiana's not a place to mess with. I mean, we just had a year ago or a couple of years ago, the Alabama correctional officer and bringing out her boyfriend or whatever he was, and they got caught in Indiana. So Indiana's not anywhere to mess with for some reason. So any of you out there committing crimes, don't go through Indiana. They're gonna get you. So once they're taken back home and arrested and everything, and they were probably questioned once again, what was the motive? Why did they pick Half and Suzanne to do this to?
So it's interesting because people were really confused to why these 2 kids would do that, because by all reports, they were really great kids. They came from relatively well-respected families.
Right.
You know, people said that they were normal, they had hobbies, very smart. But then it kind of came out that Robert wasn't exactly the greatest kid. He thought he was better than everyone else and was constantly getting into like this disputes at school because he thought he was smarter than everyone else.
Right.
So he, by high school, was referring to himself as like this higher being, and he was more evolved than other people, which, you know, we see a lot in cases like this. And eventually they kind of got the idea, he and Jim, to become Navy SEALs.
Okay.
But they didn't want to go through the training.
Okay.
So they decided they were going to train themselves and start with robbery murders to earn money to go to Australia, to live in the bush and like live, you know, wild, train, and become these superior beings.
Oh, man.
So they got the idea after, in around summer of 2000, and they had spotted an elderly couple on the way home from a concert, and Robert suggested that, you know, they should park the car, get out, jump them,
them and knock them out or kill them.
Okay.
And this was the first time that he had started talking about killing people.
Wow.
Now, on the day of the murder, the Zantops were home, obviously, and Robert and Jim had driven to New Hampshire looking for victims. And the first two homes that they visited, no one answered the door, but the Zantops did. So it was like they were home.
Wow.
That's what picked them.
So they were just picked as at random. They just were not. There was no connection between Jim, Robert, and the Zantops at all whatsoever. So I was kind of thinking maybe that these kids were getting ready to go to college or something and everything, but no connections whatsoever. So Robert seemed kind of like the leader of the two. He was the one coming up with the ideas of what they need to do and kind of influencing Jim. I know it's not always good to be influenced by your friends to do anything bad, but this was terrible. So do you think that Robert was more of an influence on Jim than his?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Jim was kind of like the class clown, and
Right.
I feel like kind of in the trial, like how Robert had kind of manipulated and influenced Jim.
Right.
They also found that Robert had some interesting role models.
Okay.
They found in his room that he had some neo-Nazi paraphernalia and reading material in his bedroom, and that he allegedly admired Hitler's way of manipulating people. But he claimed that was just for research for like a school project or something. But
Sure.
I have to say, that's not someone you should be looking up to.
No, that's not someone you should be looking up to and everything. I mean, it goes back to there's some Nazi propaganda that he's looking up to. He's reading this, and it's given him an influence at the age 17 to influence his friend who, like he says, a class clown and just wanted to fit in. So Robert was kind of manipulative and everything. And were they asked why they thought killing people were going to train them to be Navy SEALs? What was their excuse for just, deciding to kill somebody? Do they really think they were going to become Navy SEALs that way?
So it seems that Robert had these really fantastical ideas of just, he said something about wanting to become basically like immortal. He wanted to find a way to live forever.
Oh.
And his fantasies about immortality involved replacing their bodies with machines someday, and it was very strange.
Okay.
But he basically had this idea that the only way he could achieve this goal was by becoming essentially like this killing machine, which for whatever reason he thought that's basically what Navy SEALs do.
Right. Wow. It sounds like to me that Robert was influenced by something online. It sounds like he was influenced by false movies and everything that's got his mind going haywire. Did they find anything on his computer? Because usually in situations like this, there's things on his computer. Did the police, were they able to find anything on these guys' computers? Did they have computers? I mean, they were 17 and 16 at the time, and computers wasn't as big, but they were still out at that time. So was there anything on their computers?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
They really went based on the reading material, the Nazi reading material that they found in his room, and then based on like testimony from witnesses.
Right.
And they kind of really had to sift through these testimonies because so many people in their town were like, no, like there's no way they would have done this. Until they finally got a hold of one kid who was like, actually, Robert was not that great. He was like kind of a bully. He thought he was better than everyone else. He's like threw a tantrum because people didn't, he was like, he was voted class president or something like that. And he basically tried to overrule everybody. And they were like, you can't do that. Like, that's not what a class president does. And he was a bully. And he unfortunately took
Yeah, yeah. Well, another question about these two young teenagers at the time: were they sentenced to life in prison, death, or with the kind of mental aspect that Robert had? Were they being mentally evaluated and sent into mental homes? Where these guys ended up after this?
So initially, Robert did try to go for an insanity defense,
I
and
figured that.
Jim took a plea deal
Mm-hmm.
by testifying against Robert, and he would receive a lesser charge of second-degree murder for
Right.
the death of Susanna, and would be sentenced to 25 years to life, or 25 years while Robert was looking at life. But 2 weeks before the trial, Robert dropped his defense and pled guilty to first-degree murder in the killing of Half.
Okay.
So Jim was sentenced to 25 years with the possibility of parole actually this year, and
Okay.
Robert was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole.
So Jim will probably be getting out this year, possibly, with Robert. Now, getting back to Half and Susanna, we know they're going to be greatly missed. Did you mention that did they have kids? Did you mention that?
They did. They had 2 daughters,
Wow.
Veronica and Mariana.
Wow, to go on in life without your parents like that. And were they at a young age, teenager age, high school age? What age were these young ladies at the time?
So they were, I want to believe, in their 20s
Okay.
at the time. And basically she gave a victim impact statement saying that, her father's generosity and openness had made the crime possible,
Mm-hmm.
because what Jim and Robert did was they knocked on the door and they said that they were collecting information for a survey
Okay.
for some project that they were doing at school, and they wanted to talk to Half and Susanna because they were professors. So Half
Okay.
let them into the home, and while he's talking to them, Half goes, "You guys don't seem like you have it together. Like, you don't know what kind of questions you're supposed to be asking. It doesn't seem you're very well prepared."
Mm-hmm.
And that made Robert really angry, because I guess he thought that Half was insinuating that Robert was stupid. And Robert, thinking he's better than everyone else, was not going to tolerate that. And that's what initiated the attack.
Wow. Well, actually, Robert was pretty stupid. So, I mean, I don't think Half was probably saying that, but, he was pretty stupid because he ends up killing these people. So, yeah, he was. So,
Yeah, not as smart as he thinks he is.
Right.
Definitely not. And it seemed like he kind of pushed Jim into killing
Yep.
Susanna.
I think-
According to at least what Jim said,
I believe it.
he really didn't want to do it, and Robert was like, "You have to kill her, you have to kill her, you have to." And so he did. And I am inclined to believe that, because I do think that, just based on what happened after the trial,
Mhm.
that Jim felt truly remorseful for what he had done.
It's going to be hard to live with and then come out and try to be in the real world and living in this small town where everybody knows these people. They knew all these people were known in this small town and everything. And, being that Half and Susanna's probably still being honored to this day. I'm not sure the daughters are probably still living in that town. They probably don't want to. But how do you think Jim coming out this year, possibly, how do you think he's going to react to going back to this hometown where all this had happened and having to be known as one of the 2 people that did this? How do you think he's going to react and others are going to react to him?
I definitely think it's going to be so difficult for him, obviously, because he did do something so terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But it does seem like he is incredibly remorseful. He had actually petitioned for early release, and the daughters he will finish his sentence with no objections. He won't try to petition for an early release.
Okay.
I do believe he is truly remorseful.
Right.
And the town, while they had initially rallied around these kids, turned against them.
Yes.
But I do think Jim has a better chance of reacclimating himself into the town because as long as he is, I should say, truly sorry, you know, he did something terrible. He ruined his life by doing it. He ruined, you know, the Santop's daughter's life.
Yes.
But I do believe as long as he is truly remorseful, that he could potentially have a relatively, you know, normal time. You know, he went on in prison to get his master's degree. He joined, he took a leadership position in the prison to try and better the community there. So it seemed like he's doing what he can to kind of right his wrong.
Right, change himself. Well, I believe that him being this kind of person was that he could have been this kind of person before this happened. He could have been a good person and he was tricked into doing this. But I believe that we all have to make mistakes in life. And this right here is something he's learning from. It's hard to say because this is murder and everything. But I what I'm hearing is basically Jim is possibly learning from his mistakes, where we know Robert's probably sitting there, even though he's got life in prison, Robert's probably sitting there going, well, it wasn't all my fault. I didn't do it. You know, Jim helped me. You know, that's probably how he's acting, you know?
Yeah, I very much feel like Robert is still trying to put, all of the blame on Jim. And Jim is just as guilty as Robert is, but Robert absolutely masterminded this thing.
Yep.
You know, when he was talking to the police, he was so cocky about it. He didn't believe he was going to get caught.
No.
But he, again, was not as smart as he thought he was. He made a lot of mistakes. And, you know, he has to live with that. Whether or not he cares is a different story.
Right.
There's another case that I covered in Russia where Robert reminds me very much of another young man that did something very similar, where he thought he was better than everyone else. You know, he's in jail basically thinking, you know what, I'm going to write a book about these murders that I committed and I'm going to make a lot of money off of it and I don't really care.
Wow. That makes there's a lot of people out there like that. And you know, for some reason, these people that go into prison like this, they're given these opportunities. They're sitting around all day. They're given opportunities to move forward. And probably this Robert, like you said, I mean, would you expect that he might do the same thing? Is he going to think about doing a book? Is he, you know, has he done interviews, and has there been any movies based upon this situation?
To my knowledge, there hasn't been.
Okay.
But I would not be surprised if Robert tried.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
To get something done.
Right. Wow. Wow. All I can say is I could see something like that. You know, I'm gonna have to see if there's some kind of movie down the road. Seems like they would have done something on this. I know they did a Headline News Network years ago did a news story on it. I know that they do a lot of these forensic files and stuff like that. So that's probably one of the series they did. But
yeah, it looks like True TV might have done something.
Okay.
About it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Series or something about it, which, you know, again, doesn't surprise me. And the only thing that's good about if Robert decides to try and do anything or make money off of that is there's actually a law in America where killers cannot profit off of the murders they committed in the forms of, you know, media, books. They can't profit off of that.
Good.
And I want to say, I don't remember which famous serial killer it was. You know, it could have been, I want to say it was David Berkowitz, but I could be wrong.
Right.
He tried to profit off of the murders that he committed, and the families obviously were in outrage over it. So this law was passed saying, you want to write a book? We can't stop you. You want to make a movie? We can't stop you.
Right.
But you're not going to profit off of it. Any money you make, like, either goes to the families or, it doesn't go to them.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? That's a good thing too. But this Robert guy, knowing that he's probably been told that, he's probably not going to want to make anything off of it. But to me, with this situation, it needs to be told. But to me, with someone like Robert, it would give his side, and he would make out like Jim was the mastermind. And I personally know that by us talking this morning, Robert was the mastermind. A lot of people said it was, but you never know somebody. I mean, just think, these are two kids that everybody knew, and then all of a sudden they're like, wow, they murdered a well-respected couple. And your synopsis over this whole story today, your final thoughts.
This case is really sad for
Yeah.
me, because you have, this couple that literally never in their life did a single thing wrong. Were
Exactly.
so intelligent,
Loving.
Loving. Someone had said, a couple of their students had said, a couple of their colleagues had said, basically, if you could come to them for anything, whether you had good news to share, bad news to share, it was a total open door policy.
Wow.
They would invite students to their home for dinner parties, just to kind of celebrate their progress in class. Half would take his students to Mexico every year to learn about geology, and the kids were so excited for it every year because they had such a great time with him. And Susanna was so well respected. She wrote a bunch of books about sociology in Germany and all of that. She was incredibly intelligent. So you have these two people that really gave so much to their community and really did so much for their community, and then you have these two kids come along and take it from them because they think that they're better than everyone else. They did it because they could.
Exactly. Wow, man, that is a sad story, a situation I never thought I'd ever hear. I mean, I've watched these shows, I've seen them and everything, but learning more about this situation, it just hits you hard that two victims were murdered because their door was open, because they were the kind of people like, come in and be kind, and other people were not at home. And that's pretty scary to think that what if the other people that were not home thinking, well, that could have been us. That could have been us. You got to think about the neighbors sitting there thinking that could have been us. We were not home.
Exactly. Like, it was by pure chance that the neighbors weren't home and half answered the door. It was by pure chance. And that is what's so scary, because you hear about murders, and a lot of times there is a concrete motive.
Right.
Where, whether it's, anger, jealousy, or robbery, and then you have something like this where it was
random,
pure opportunity and by pure chance. And that's what's so scary about it, is because that literally could have happened to anyone. It was just random.
Well, Courtney, as always, it's been a pleasure having you with us. And tell us what's coming up on the next edition of the Book of the Dead podcast with your co-host, your mom.
So we're taking this Sunday off, a little burnt out after the holidays, but
right.
Need a break. But the next week we have a case. It is the murder of Deborah Schiller. I'm actually working on that case with Deborah's mom, Debbie. Wow. It's unsolved. There has been no resolution, and It's been 7 years. So I spoke to her mom. We had a long conversation. So we're gonna cover that one in the hopes that hopefully something will come of it. And we have just done actually another case with a victim's father, similar situation where his daughter was murdered, and it has been unsolved.
Wow. Well, we definitely be waiting for that in a couple of weeks and everything. Tell everybody how to follow you, social media, all the different ways to get the Book of the Dead and everything.
We are everywhere. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Patreon, at the Book of the Dead pod. And we're, super active on social media. Love talking to you guys. So feel free. You could always send us a message just saying hi or send us the case request or, anything like that. We're always willing to talk to you guys.
Sounds good. Well, Courtney, it's a pleasure having you with us again this morning. We can't wait to have you again in February because it's the month for lovers. So I'm sure you'll find a lover's story for us.
Oh, yeah. I have the perfect case in mind for Valentine's Day.
Ooh, there you go. The lovers and lies. That's coming up next month. So, Courtney, we thank you for being with us. We're going to let her out on good behavior. You guys, we'll be back in a moment. Get ready to close out this edition of your favorite radio show, the RyanORadio Penitentiary. All right, Courtney, that was good as always. Great as always.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I love coming on.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you. You always have something good to talk about, and it always seems like we're gonna have a short time, but it ends up being the right amount of time. So it always seems like we get through the questions quick, but we always able to expand it. So it works out great.
Yeah, I'm always worried that like maybe I didn't give enough.
It's no big deal. It's like today. We can always get more and expand a little bit more and everything. It's no big deal. So works out great. Well, we'll have you again next month during Lovers and Liars Month. So.
Oh yeah, I've got the perfect case for that. It's called the Lonely Hearts Killers.
Oh, the Lonely Hearts Killers. Ooh, can't wait for that. Well, Courtney, it's a pleasure. I'll let you get back to it. I know you got some other things to do, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. You have a good day.
You do the same.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Awesome interview. Thank you. Thank you, guys. At least there's something we can do while you're having to be stuck in snow and ice and all that stuff. It's 23 here. People actually got out in the cars and stuff today. Last 2 days, everybody's been stuck inside the house in Georgia and Alabama. I know Sheriff's from Iowa, but we got Iowa. They got snow, and so does Idaho. That's our Midwestern listeners. But now the radio station here is going to be focusing in on Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and North Florida.
3 p.m. to 5 p.m. right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Because we got some Florida Florida radio show host. Got a guy. We got a new radio show host coming on from Montgomery, Alabama. That's right.
Because it is. You've never heard a show like it because we
So you get somebody out of Tennessee.
Every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern, you'll hear plenty of the best sports talk.
Y'all have some good news there besides the bad news. Good news is you got the Titans.
That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon. Right here.
Actually, the good news is you got Nashville. So.
Hello, everyone. This is DJ Commando of the 45's Affair
Oh.
Radio Show, where I play all vinyl 45s. You're listening to WQEE 99.1 FM, Newton, Georgia.
All right, welcome back into RyanORadio Penitentiary. Thank you. Awesome interview. I appreciate that. Courtney Liso from the Book of the Dead podcast was our guest this morning. Tomorrow morning on the show, we're going to get in the ring. We're going to hook up. We're going to grapple. Well, actually, we're not going to do that, but we're going to bring in CEO Matt Griffin from, of course, Action Wrestling. Action Wrestling is going to be making its way to the metro Atlanta area of Noonan next weekend for Noonan Nightmare. So we'll have our friend Matt Griffin. He is the CEO of Action Wrestling and be joining us next week. He'll be joining us tomorrow morning in the final period of play. Titans know how to lose. Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. They know how to lose, right? They've had successful shows in East Coweta High School, Noonan High School, Mattress Middle School, and looking forward to another week. They run shows in Fayette and Coweta County since 2018. It's Action Wrestling, Noonan Nightmare next week. We're going to have our friend Matt Griffin. He is the CEO of it. And Action Wrestling is on IWTV Live. So there you go. We'll talk more about that tomorrow morning. It's 7 and 8. It's 7 and 8. Is it 7, -7, or is it 7 and 8 wind chill? High of 8 today, so 7 to 8 wind chill. Okay. Iowa. Ugh. Guys, you can't, wow. Oh man, that is a lot. That is too cold for me. And we'll come through the beautiful state of Iowa. Love it. But gosh, that's just way too much. Ooh, too cold. But here in the South, once it starts freezing up, we get ice on the ground. We don't get too much snow in my neck of the woods. Not whatsoever. Oh, Lordy, Lordy. So let's see, I got this here. There you go. There you go. All right, we got that tomorrow morning on the show. Plus, we'll have more headline news. Get you ready for a sports weekend ahead. The Titans won't be playing, by the way, Gail. But this weekend, you will have the Bills and the Chiefs. You've got the 49ers and the Green Bay Packers on Saturday. We'll give you a rundown of all the games coming up this weekend. And we'll have your headline news and more. At 7:50 a.m. on the way, Memphis, Southwest Tennessee reporting freezing drizzle rain, while Northeast Tennessee showing sleet. Ooh, hopefully you don't have to get out in that. Hopefully you got all your the stuff you need at home to make your soups and stuff there, and keep the zoo crew indoors there, Gail, and everything, because yeah, freezing drizzle. Wow. Sheriff says it's going to be a heat wave next week, 30 with rain and snow. Oh, that's going to be pretty hot for you guys. You'll be out in shorts and sandals. Yeah, the last week of January going to be a heat wave, 30s with rain and snow in Iowa. We're supposed to warm up next week too, but I'm needing to warm up today. Okay, I got things I got to do. Every day's a work day for me. I don't have time for it to be cold where everybody has to bundle up and go, cold, it's cold, we don't want to talk. Oh, that's right. We don't want to talk. It's cold, Ryan. We don't want to talk. It's cold. Too cold. My daughter-in-law was just telling me they're having freezing rain. Yeah, Tennessee brings that freezing rain. We had some of that for a few seconds yesterday morning. Winter weather advisory extended from more counties in southern to middle Tennessee. Yeah, that means northern Georgia is going to get that too. A few counties are now under advisory, but everyone needs to prepare for possible freezing rain, sleet, rain, and snow. That's what's going on in Tennessee, guys. Winter weather advisory there. We've got a winter weather advisory coming up for North Georgia too. There's going to be a little bit more sleet and snow there. Sheriff says in Memphis, they got 8 inches of snow the other day. Take me to the snow days. It's all snow. All snow everywhere. It's going to get worse. I don't know if I want to be around all this. I'm about ready for this weather to be done. About ready for all this weather to be done, guys. We just got a few more minutes left in the show. That's why we're just doing chats at the end of the show. Just chats. just chatting a little bit, getting weather from around the country. Oh, your grandson had his first snow ever. But he enjoyed it. First time you see the snow, it's enjoyable, but once you see it a number of times, you're like, and especially in the South, you don't want it to snow because it usually turns to ice, freezing rain and sleet. And you know what that means? You're off the road for a few weeks. And in the South, we don't, like I was telling Courtney earlier, we don't like to use salt on the ice. We use it on our fried chicken or in our food. We're not stupid people. It's currently 30 degrees right now in the metro Atlanta area and 33 in LaGrange. All right, so there you go. So it's not too bad. Maybe start warming up a little bit more. Let's see. I think I got everything. Coming up at the top of the hour, Sustainable Brown Girl. We'll follow that up with Heart to Heart Radio with Margie Conway. And then 12 to 5 p.m., the best sports lineup in the business. Rod Peterson Show, 12 to 2. Sports Beat with Richard Holders, 2 to 3. And Braves Country HD Radio with Matt McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. And then Rod, the Rick Smith Show, takes over at 5 p.m. All right, hard freeze warning in effect for Claybird and Randolph counties in Alabama. And in Georgia, winter weather advisories for Fayette, Gilmore, Lumpkin, Towns, Union, and White in Georgia. And Rainburn's going to get a mixture of a snow in there too. That's up towards the north part of Georgia. Nowhere near us. They're going to get what you guys are going to get in Tennessee. Well, fire breaks out in a Sandy Springs home overnight. At least somebody was warm. No one was killed, so that's why I'm making that joke. All right, back in a moment. See you tomorrow on the RyanORadio Penitentiary, the Friday edition. We'll have some sports for you. We'll have some headlines, news for you, and we'll jump in the ring with Matt Griffin from Action Wrestling. That's all tomorrow morning right here. So you guys have a great day. We're in a winter weather advisory too until 6 in the morning in Iowa. 1 to 3 inches of snow. Oh man, this winter's getting bad. Are we ready for summer in the middle of the summer where we're complaining about how hot it is? I think we are. You guys have a great day. You have a great day too, Cher. Thank you very much. See you guys. Gail. See you, Gail.